You're gone. Amy, I cannot hear you.
We're all muted.
Hello. Okay.
Well, I unmuted us, so all the people can hear everything we're saying, I think. It's 0 anyway, so we can just get started with it. There we go.
There you are.
Yep, we're here, and we are now live.
Yay! Hello!
Yay!
Hi, chat.
Okay, hi, chat! Once again, we are having technical issues between the computer and the computer and the brain.
No, it's mostly the computer.
I don't know. Whoop.
No, don't sell yourself short.
Aw. Okay, we're having another guest. Gracie K is coming in, but I don't know what's up with their end, or if the thing isn't working for them, which is dumb, and it should be working. Why does nothing work for us? It's so sad. We got a viewer. Hi, one viewer. I love you. I wish I could see your name so I could say, hi, viewer. I love you. Okay. Yay!
Okay, I'm simply doing...
well...
I'm simply dropping links in Discords for people to... Come on, Discord. Stop being a bee.
Leedle. Oh boy, I can't wait to talk about Spookums Magoo. Best ghost boy. And I have spent the last, week going through Tumblr and DeviantArt and fanfiction. And, yay! There's our Gracie.
Hello.
John stream. Okay,
hello.
We got
I absolutely need to switch which side of the screen these are on.
Oh,
I have the benefit of a large enough monitor that I can do a split screen and it's not atrocious. Unfortunately, nice. Things have to be on the correct sides, otherwise I keep looking to the wrong thing and being like, dang it.
That is fair. Okay, so are you guys ready for tonight?
Yes.
Sure. Yes. I, for one, am very ready. So why don't we all start with talking about what we know about the Danny Phantom Fandom, kind of our history with it, and just we'll go from there. It's a little bit of a looser night. It's more kind of looking back and celebrating on all the things that the fandom has done and stuff like that. And howdy! I like that. That's nice. I like that greeting. Just some dork just said howdy. Hi!
Hello. Wait! Oh my gosh! I forgot there are chats. There's actual typing chats. I don't have
there.
Okay. How do I open chats. I keep forgetting that. I'm like, what are you guys reading? There's. It's interactive.
I can show it on the stream. Howdy. Howdy.
Nice.
Okay. So, you guys want to go first, or would you like me to start?
You have to have headphones on.
Yeah, that was an accident. I turned it off. I'm sorry.
How do I open this is probably a dumb question. How do I open the chat on the Twitch?
That is a good question.
I got it. I got it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good.
Nope.
It is indeed a question. I have a lot of questions about life, about the fandoms I've been in, especially the Danny Phantom Fandom. It's been a good time, and I'm sure a lot of you guys. It's true. Listen, uses a trackpad to play Minecraft. It's yes.
Listen,
It's the truth. It's the
don't
truth,
call
and you
me
should
out
say
on
it.
my technological non-prowess.
If you ever play Among Us with Nana, there is a 98.4% chance that they will end up in a wall somewhere
It
in the game.
It doesn't matter if I am a ghost or if I'm just if I haven't been killed yet in the game. I'll just be running around and the game will just be like, you know what? It's a good time for you to be in a wall.
Oh, it's just like, and all of a sudden I'm
there.
walk over and Nana is going in and out of the vent, and it's like, that's run, hit the button. Oh, Nana, that's some nice venting you got there.
It was doing nothing for me. I'm like, we got into that. You called an emergency meeting, and I got into that, and immediately went, I don't think this game is working for me. Just kill me, but please tell me how this game works.
And then we proceeded to not.
No, well, the thing is, you guys would try to be walking me through the mini games, and you'd be like, look for this thing on the screen. I'm like, that's not on my screen. They're like, what are you talking about? And I'd send a screenshot, and they'd be like, okay, your game's cursed.
That's speaking of cursed, you guys ready to talk about the Danny Phantom Fandom?
I was born ready, and I'll die ready.
Oh man!
I am.
So oh, go on, Grace.
Oh, go for it. Go for it.
Oh no! What were you gonna say?
Oh, I'm baby. I've really only skimmed the surface of Danny Phantom Fandom.
Okay.
Mostly just look at cool fan art.
That is okay. I've got plenty of stuff for us to go through after we finish the iceberg thing, possibly during the iceberg thing. And so we're just tonight's a easygoing night. We're going to talk about the past, present, future, all that good stuff.
Oh, hey, Gala.
Yeah.
Going back to what you had said, how about you start us off with talking about your history with the fandom?
Talking about myself. I love that. Yes. I've been in the Danny Phantom Fandom since, oh man, do we include the Nickelodeon chat boards?
We go back to when you started watching the show.
Okay, well that would have been 2005. I saw Danny Phantom on the back of a Captain Crunch cereal box, and I was like, dang, I vibe with that. I'm a little girl, and I'm like, that looks interesting. I want to know more about that. And of course, I didn't do anything about that because, well, I was a very busy, very depressed little fourth grader. I think I was fourth grade. Time is an illusion. Buy gold. And then my brother one day comes in and goes, dude, you need to see this show from the creator of the Fairly Odd Parents. And I was like, oh, okay. So we sat down and we watched an episode together, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And it just happened to be that stupid episode where Danny splits himself into two, and it's Super Danny and Fun Danny. And I was like, I like this concept, but it's not serious enough for me. Well, good news for me.
The rest of the show is not that lighthearted.
Not that lighthearted. So, of course, I proceeded to watch every episode I could get my grimy little hands on, which was not easy back in the tender year of 2005.
Yeah.
You had to rely on networks to actually air the show. And thankfully they did air Danny Phantom quite a bit at the time. That was before Butch Hartman kind of ruined the... Yeah. We'll talk about that all later. But yeah, and then so at 2005, I got a Nickelodeon.com account, and because I was interested in kind of fandoms and stuff, and just kind of lived my life pretty normally, Dustin and I would watch the second season as it rolled around. We didn't watch the premiere of Rainstorm or Ultimate Enemy because we didn't know when it was on, and we were constantly at sporting events for my sister. So, but at the time, Nickelodeon had this Nickelodeon, it was like a big celebration where they were at like the Universal parks down in Orlando, and they would do like weekly releases where they would release like the X's, Mr. Meaty, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Danny Phantom, all those new episodes. And so Dustin and I would tune in weekly for that. And then eventually it ended, you know, with the big School's Out season finale. Season finale of the season. And so we were like, oh, and then we waited and we waited. And of course I got bored. I don't like waiting. I don't know if you guys know that about me. I'm not much of a waiter. I couldn't even wait for the comic to be out before reading the sneak peek. I failed you, Nana. But yeah, so I, of course, went online to see if I could find stuff. That is where I read my first fan fiction. It was a Danny Phantom The Shining crossover.
Oh my gosh.
Thankfully was not completed, but I loved it. And I also had gotten a Nick.com account at that time. And because I was like, do other people even like this? The network is telling us that, you know, people don't really like this. And it turns out a lot of people did. A lot of people liked the show. Those Nick.com boards were full of 12 to 18-year-olds just kicking back and talking stupid stuff about Danny Phantom. Man, it was fun. I feel so bad for those moderators. Of course, you can only do so much on the Nick.com messaging boards. So I was like, well, what else can I do? And that's when I decided to pursue more fanfiction.net. And I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. Of course, I had just found out that the show was canceled and I cried because I was sad. And then there's my brother like, it's not that important. I said, it is important to me. You bonehead. And then, so I read the entirety of the fanfiction.net catalog that existed at that time. And that was through the end of kind of the show's run and then into high school. And somewhere in there, I had found DeviantArt as well. And there were a lot of like off-brand sites that would just repost stuff. Like I think it was iHeartFunny and all that. We don't like those sites. They don't actually properly credit the people that made stuff. And so there are some things I actually still don't know who made them. Because there was a huge like fandom fight and like a bunch of people got purged and there's still stuff floating around, I think. But it's been a while. So, yeah, and then I got to college. Found out about Tumblr, and yeah, I didn't realize that Wes happened in like 2000, like at very beginning of 2014. I thought it was much later than that. So I was surprised when I was doing my research. I was going backwards when really I should have gone from 2013. Like I think I was in at like end of maybe it was August. It was August of 2013, and then just gone forward from there. But no, I went from 2023 backwards, and because younger me never actually bothered to properly tag anything, my Tumblr is just this conglomerate of massive Danny Phantom information all at once, everywhere, because I reblogged everything. But I found quite a few really little tasty treats that I'm looking forward to sharing with you guys. Even stuff that I didn't see covered in the iceberg. I grabbed some of those. Yeah, but I thought the iceberg was that we're going to look at. Very good. Very good. We'll talk more about that later. So I'm going to pass it off to Nana. Nana, would you tell us about your experience with Danny Phantom and the fandom? And all its wondrousness? Yes.
So I watched Danny Phantom originally when it was airing. I don't remember what the first, I think I might have actually watched the first episode either when it was coming out or just happened to come across like one of the first episodes. Because I remember watching it, seeing the box ghost and being like, oh, I like this show. And also that's my favorite. I saw the box ghost once and immediately claimed him.
He's amazing.
And because I have pretty clear memories of like when we were talking through the episodes last stream, once you started like talking about like the plot, it was like, oh yeah, I can remember that, like especially the first season, I can definitely remember that. But wee lad that I was just watching them on TV because we didn't have the internet in my house until I was firmly in junior high. So I was just obsessed by myself and with classmates for like 4 or 5, 6 years or something like that, until I was in like later junior high. And then when we finally got a computer in the house, that was when I started reading. Actually, no. I wasn't, and most of my being online was mostly just reading manga. So I didn't even I didn't go on we didn't do any the Nicktoons, anything like that. I mostly watched YouTube.
Yeah.
So I watched a bunch of I would watch the YouTube compilations where it was people would set fan art to music or make the animated music video. That was
AMVs.
kind of, yeah, that was my first taste of fandom stuff, was watching those things and being this is cool as heck, and also adding those songs to playlists and being yes. I think one of the first fandom things that I did was I came across one of those and then I went, oh my gosh, people set music videos or animate stuff to specific songs. I could do that in my brain. And then immediately started did the thing where you find a song and immediately attach it to a character, and then it's just if I had better artistic skills and also time and dedication, I could do this and this and this, and had lots of those things plotted out. And then in high school was when I ended up on fanfiction.net, and then later high school I think was AO3. But one of my first forays into fanfiction.net was Danny Phantom stuff, because I'm
it's so good.
I think it was mostly because I watched Phantom Planet once, and that was enough. And I was seething ever after that. I was seething, and then I came across some sort of fix it fic, and for Danny Phantom or something, and I think it was just something that I had I think I was looking for a different fandom, came across Danny Phantom stuff, or realized that there was Danny Phantom fanfiction, and then one of the first fics that I came across was some sort of fix it fic, and I went, oh my god, that's a thing. Okay, cool. That's gonna be what I do for the rest of my life, is read
They were real popular back in after Phantom Planet aired, because no Phantom Planet didn't happen. If we just ignore it, it'll go away.
Yeah, there was a lot of,
maybe still will.
And I was oh, okay. So I was oh, so other people also didn't like this ending and are just writing different endings for it. I can get behind this, and so that was my first foray into the fan fiction. And there was a lot of course there was a lot of ship fics, and there was a lot of really dark stuff in the Danny Phantom fandom, and I was I'd be okay, I'm yeah. And I
don't know how you could think that.
And I read a lot of it, but there was plenty of stuff that I'm okay, but can they just have a nice day for once and not have it end in tragedy? And I'm okay, realize the show that you're talking about, that's not gonna happen. And I was okay. No, but then when I got it, oh yeah,
no, continue.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and then I got more into actually interacting with other people that also like Danny Phantom once I got into college, because that was when I ended up on Tumblr and actually kind of started doing a little bit of social media stuff, which I still mostly just lurk on social media stuff.
That's okay.
And interact.
Fandoms thrive on lurkers, so
yeah. I'm mostly a lurker. I occasionally interact with people or make stuff for fandom things. but I mostly just lurk or end up talking to somebody in a cafeteria for 20 minutes because they've mentioned Danny Phantom IRL, and I went, oh my god, I've never met another person in real life that I can talk to about this. Yes.
I will always talk about Danny Phantom given the prime opportunity.
Yeah, and then 10 years later, we're talking about it on a stream together.
It's amazing how life works.
Yeah, but it was mostly, my interaction with the fandom. My interaction with Danny Phantom and with the fandom are two separate things because I was solidly not on the internet in like the 6 years after while Danny Phantom was airing and like the 6 years after it aired. I wasn't an internet person until I pretty much went to high school. And then I've still mostly only been a lurker on the internet.
Ah, the internet.
I simply
a place where dreams go to die.
So that brings us to Gracie.
Hi, Gracie. The baby.
Oh, it's
Gracie's
me.
our baby.
It's me, the
Yeah.
baby.
Yep.
Oh boy. So like I didn't even watch Danny Phantom until college, I think, because my family my parents didn't want me to watch it in the house for some reason. So like I was like, yeah, go to college, watch Danny Phantom. This is freedom.
Gracie, you need to lie. Don't tell them. My parents never found out about Danny Phantom until like last week when we were getting ready to do this stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Continue.
But like, so I know that I watched the show sometime in college, and my memory of it is very pleasant, but also very not a lot, because I liked it a lot. And I think Danny Phantom is such a cool story, and like the characters are all wonderful. I just have a little bit of a hard time remembering things sometimes. But
That's okay.
I always love going onto Tumblr and looking at Danny Phantom art. It's like one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
I love all of the like the headcanons and all of the just amazing things people can do with art and with Danny Phantom, and I'm just blown away every day. That's about me. Like I haven't read a lot of fan fiction about it, but I've heard some good and some not good things about the fan fiction of Danny Phantom. So
like
but,
the fan
yeah.
fiction of any fandom.
Like the okay, yes, to be fair, like the fan fiction of any fandom. But yes. Yeah, so I just like looking at pretty things.
Okay, that's fair. Pretty things are nice. Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a time when the fandom just was consistently uploading like gore. That was a long week.
Yeah.
That was a long week. Everybody was just in that mood. But yeah. No, and that actually does make sense. You are a little bit younger. You're also very long with noodle arms. Sorry.
It's okay. No
that,
problem.
I find that people who were more watched it in the early 2000s, when our cartoons were a little bit more difficult to come across, tend to have a more passionate reaction to Danny Phantom. And kind of like how people have passionate reactions to Avatar, Kim Possible, all those kind of shows. Ben 10, which I'm trying to rewatch because I haven't watched past Alien Force. And because I didn't like the Ben character backslide. We could talk about that on a different date.
Yes.
And then, yes. But, yeah. After it was done, like people, there's this TikToker. Let's see if I can pull him up. But they're doing little Danny Phantom animations now, and they're like, I still haven't finished the show, and I'm like, oh no, your baby. Oh no.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. Always be on social media. Let's see. They are just like the video of theirs. Excuse me.
Yeah,
Get
in
through
the
all
friend
the
group,
video.
I am also the internet lurker on the friend group because I frequently go, I'm gonna disappear off to the woods or to real life for like a while, and then just be
There
like,
you go.
bye, and then I'm gone for several days, and it's like,
I just realized I could just be pulling this up on the stream instead of on my phone.
probably not,
okay.
considering it's your personal stuff.
I don't care. Well, I mean, my TikTok is, I don't really have personal stuff outside of
No,
Facebook.
I mean, it gives like,
the data sharing
yes.
goal. I don't know if we can swear on here.
I don't know. I'm opting not to.
Okay,
More
okay,
so.
that's fair. Yeah, they are at 1x and 1. And let's see if I can kind of give a good, this one right here. Well, that's as good of a picture we're going to get. And they do turtle stuff. And yeah, I probably was given to them, like they showed up on my feed because I was watching Rise of the TMNT stuff because that movie's a banger. But they do amazing, like, little drawing TikToks and fantastic. Yes. So I'm glad that the fandom is still growing as we exist.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
One of my favorite things about the Danny Phantom fandom, one is the memes. Because everyone who's been in the fandom for any length of time is hardcore 90% of their personality is memes.
It's true.
And it's like, it's so good because the fandom collectively will not miss a chance to meme extremely hard and be very sassy, and it's deeply appreciated.
So true. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. It's
And
true. Going through, there are actually a bunch of stuff that I had to cut down things and kind of trim and find out what, extra things we wanted to talk about. But there were a lot of stuff that I like had grabbed that were like, oh my gosh, how are you guys this bad with puns? You think the show is bad with its puns? No, the fandom is worse. And I'm like, I think I said, my response to it was, so you'd have to say that you should beware our humor. And nobody laughed.
Yes. It's so good. Listen. I walked into the Danny Phantom fandom. Somebody saw all of the puns and went, I found my people. Finally.
It's true. It's true. Okay, so are we ready to jump into the video, you think?
Sure. I think if we because I think if we, while we're working through the video, we just talk about things as they come. I think that's probably a better way, because I will not remember things at the end of the video, but if we talk about things as they come, there's a higher percentage of a chance that I will remember to talk about things.
Yay! Hey, that's okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. We'll pause the video after every section and kind of talk a little bit on it.
Yeah.
Because there's stuff that you guys actually might know more about than me, because when I got a, how do I want to word this? A job that required me to be more discreet online, I stopped interacting with fandom stuff. So a lot of the modern stuff I'm a little bit more shaky on. So Nana, you might have to supplement me somewhere, but hopefully everything. Okay.
There's some stuff that I'm like, oh yeah, I was there when it was happening, and there's some stuff that like I was living in my tiny little nook at the bottom of the ocean, and I had no idea that those ships were passing above me. What?
Yes. Okay, I am going to pop this into the chat. People can watch it if they want to pull up their own.
Sure, I'm gonna put
Okay,
this on full screen.
Yes.
so that I
LaceForest. Good videos. You should follow them. They only have 409 subscribers. We should get that to 500 at some point with our 4 watchers. I love all 4 of our watchers. I'm so glad you guys are here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We love our
Okay.
chatters.
We do.
What did we call them in
That's
our
we
last
do.
chat?
Strubaloos.
Strubaloos. Welcome, Strubaloos.
Strubaloos.
Strubaloos. Boobadoo-doo-doo. Okay.
Well,
And
LaceForest
back
should now be at 410 subscribers.
Ah, yeah.
I just subscribed.
Okay.
Woohoo!
Are you guys ready for this?
Da 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 da.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Da-da,
I don't know if the
da-da.
audio is going to go through. I hope it does. Audio support will depend on your odds. Well, let's give it a go. Boop, boop, boop.
Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. Today we're going to be doing an iceberg. And not any kind of iceberg, we're doing a Danny Phantom iceberg.
Oh my god.
Now I had noticed that there were a
Yeah, I
couple
know, right?
of Danny Phantom icebergs like floating around type of thing. The only videos that I could find on these type of icebergs and stuff were in another
Just
language,
picking
so
out
you know,
some of these things. I'm like,
here I
oh.
am. As well as
Oh.
the fact that all of the icebergs and
I know,
stuff,
right?
there were a bunch of different ones. They had a bunch of different things on them, but none of them had everything. So I took all of them and put them into a video here, and I hope you guys enjoy. So taking everything was a little bit difficult
Liddy's.
because, like, you know, some things were a little more well-known, some things weren't, and I put them in different places depending on the different icebergs and stuff. So I ended up taking them and moving them all into different places. So layer 1 is going to be stuff that people outside of the fandom might have heard, might have seen or something go on or something like that. Layer 2 is after you've entered the fandom. These are probably the first things that you'll end up seeing and hearing from other
Background
fans.
music's a bop.
Number 3, layer
Yeah.
3, is that you've started looking into things. You've gotten a little deeper into the fandom type of thing. Layer 4 is actually going to be a bunch of AUs and different stories and stuff like that because there's quite a lot and they were scattered all over the entire lists that I had found, and I decided to put them all in one layer together to make it a little easier. Layer 5 is when the really cursed
we die like
fandom
Danny. Yeah, I've seen
knowledge
that.
starts coming
One
out.
of the most
It's-
popular.
Layer 5's a good one. And
Yeah.
then layer 6 is in the depths, the
Suppose I could turn down
least
the volume on
known
this.
or most absurd theories and stuff like that will be. Now I have to give a little heads up. A good amount of the people who is going to be watching this is most likely going to see this and be like, "Oh, Danny Phantom! I
love
haven't
him."
seen that since my childhood!" And expect me to talk about a lot of little hidden secrets in the creation of the show and stuff. But I have to give you a little heads up. The fandom has not stopped. As in, normal shows for fandoms and stuff like that normally fizzle out over time to a very
Yeah, I know.
small little
We
niche
don't.
thing. But not this one.
Yeah, normally fandoms have this life and death cycle where...
And then revival. Yeah.
Yeah, and then revival. Secret Saturdays actually kind of had this, where they had a nice little sizable fan base, but eventually everything kind of puttered out. And then Ben 10 had that crossover with it, and suddenly it reignited everything, and then the celebrity trio became hot, and then now Secret Saturdays is here to stay,
Yeah.
like, which is nice. Yeah, but yeah, some shows will have big fan bases that'll just kind of die out, and then, yeah, everybody gets dragged into Supernatural.
Listen, it's inevitable. It's the black hole of media.
Mhm.
It's true. It's true. Everything references.
I'd maybe turn the
Supernatural.
volume down on the video just a tad bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe to about halfway.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Probably.
Okay. Okay.
That way, it's
Okay.
just easier to hear you than if you're talking over top of it.
Ah, yes, because you want to hear my beautiful voice.
Yeah, and I'm also heckin' deaf.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Okay.
I have earbuds in and still can't hear. If that's any indicator.
That understandable. Okay. Play.
This one has kept going on very strong for years.
Wow, it's almost like we came back from the dead.
95% of this is going to be from the fandom. It has been, as of today, 19 years since this show aired.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it again. I'm sorry. Otherwise,
No,
I'm gonna
that's
forget this. Yeah. So Danny Phantom has actually had a kind of wavelength of popularity. Over time, it's had its lows and highs. Back in 2012, we were at a really low point where there were only, like, it was still pretty good as compared to other fandoms. Like, it had 3 updates of something, maybe a day. Whereas at its most popular, it can have dozens up to hundreds of updates a day on something or other. So it's really been a growth spurt, and then a dip, and then another growth spurt, sometimes accompanied by disagreements in the fandom, made worse by certain people who we'll talk about here in a little bit. And then, so it's actually had a very interesting life cycle, because when the fandoms usually have that up and down,
new posts versus no posts per day.
Yeah. A lot of times when they hit that low, they kind of die out. But the Danny Phantom Fandom has rebounded from that low spot, I think, 3 times now. So I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah, we just have lulls where we all just draw back into our own little separate corners and work on our individual stuff and brew about things. And then somebody walks into the middle of the stage, opens their arms and goes, shouts a thing at the top of their lungs, and everyone peeks up from underneath the seats of the auditorium content, new discussion, art. You have somebody swings, somebody comes down on a rope like a spider from the rafters and goes, art. or one of the core fan fictions finally updates again, and everyone it's just upending tables, people bursting through walls, holy shit, people are talking to people that they haven't. People are talking to mutuals or strangers that they haven't talked to in months or years, and they're like, dude, this thing updated. I know you're a totally different fandom right now, and you have not been talking about this, and we haven't spoken in months, but you need to know. And people are like, oh my gosh, I must spread the word. It's like Paul Revere riding through the streets of the Northeast yelling, new Danny Phantom content, or new update from new art posted from this user. This fanfic finally updated, and everyone is just like, the call of our people.
We hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. Oh no, I forgot what I was gonna say. It's something stupid. I'm sure it'll come to me at a really inappropriate time.
It's all good.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
19 years. Now, before we get into the official iceberg and stuff, I have to give out...
Oh gosh, dang it. It stopped playing. Or did it?
No, it didn't. It was playing.
No, it was playing.
To Ethan is obsessed,
there we go.
And Lexi Piper.
Woohoo!
The key to your guys' iceberg was very helpful. I used a bunch of different icebergs that different people have made, because not everybody had everything on their own iceberg. But yeah, thank you guys for the key. It was very helpful in the making of this video. Now,
that's actually why I chose to go with this video, is because they did go out of their way to take in a whole bunch of different icebergs, because everybody's kind of got a little bit of a different grip on where they're at in the fandom. So they'll be coming from different point of views, things they've seen, and it's very difficult to get something with absolutely everything on it. And so, but this one is very comprehensive, and I appreciate it for it.
I also appreciate that there's a key, because there were definitely some of those things that I'm like, I have never heard of that. Yeah. And then there's other things flashbacks to the war.
Yes. Down here in the comments, I highly recommend going down here, clicking on some of them. Catboy Vlad, gotta love it. Yep.
Yes.
Oh man. Okay. Play.
let's get into the iceberg. Let's get into the chaos. Layer 1. Now this first layer is actually going to be stuff that people outside of the fandom might have seen or have heard about. Cool art. There are many really good artists in the fandom, and their art has been seen pretty often. Nicktoons Unite crossover.
I know this one! I know this one!
2000s, where it's a crossover between Danny Phantom, SpongeBob, Jimmy Neutron, and Timmy Turner.
I love
The
Nick
Butch
Jones.
Hartman-
Okay. I've got props. Come here, boys. I have all of the Nicktoon games, and then I also have
Nice.
all of the games here. Yeah, and actually it was at a time where it was actually beneficial to buy all the different versions of the game. So you would buy these versions. Volcano Island was my favorite. You would buy these, and then each of the stories would play out differently. So they'd be the same overarching story, but you get different interactions and different experiences with the way you played the game. Like when we sat down to play the Nicktoons Unite video game, which was a gift from my parents, actually. Dustin grabbed it when they went to the store. We didn't get a lot of, fun stuff, but they found it on sale and brought it home, and we loved it. And it's a very, long game. And you play it, but then you go and you pick up the 3DS version of it, and you're getting a different plane of events, which I found super cool, and it really piqued my interest as a kid. And then for Volcano Island, not only did we have the 3DS game, do I have that out? Yes, we had the Game Boy version as
Game
well.
Boy.
And yes, and you also get a different experience when you play this as well. This one was a platformer, which is a little different. It was more of a 2D game, a 2D platformer, and they would do I have anything else? It would be a completely different gameplay experience, which I really appreciated as a little kid who hyperfixated on things. And then, come here, Danny. Look at the stream while I look for stuff. Talk about that later. Oh no! Where'd it go? Well, shoot. I was going to show you guys my favorite piece of fun content that I had. It's a neat little Volcano Island for, I forget whether it was the DS or the Game Boy version, came with it was like a little square picture, and when you moved it, it would show Danny Phantom, Timmy Turner, and SpongeBob in their different positions, and it was really cool. I've got a big Avatar one that I bought from a Comic-Con seller artist a while back, and I'm going somewhere with this. But yeah, they were just really, really neat games, and they really expanded how fandom stuff worked, and it was just fun. You kind of got to get into other fandoms with it. The Jimmy Neutron fandom is really chill. I don't much care for SpongeBob. I appreciate it now that I'm older, but I didn't much care for it as a kid. But SpongeBob was really good at sharing the spotlight, and all of these games were just also really well written. They're Kingdom Hearts ripoffs. They didn't have to be good, but they are, for the most part. I'm sorry, I got off topic. I'm very passionate about
topic.
No, that wasn't off. Yeah, that wasn't off topic. That was on topic.
Okay, yeah, I'm very
That's what
passionate about Nicktoons Unite.
Yeah, that's what we're here to do,
Yeah.
is just talk
Both
about this stuff.
Both the game and the creator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
can still
follow
come
a
up here.
couple
We can-
people on Twitter. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I follow a couple people on Twitter that draw a lot of the four of them, and it's very. I like the lore that people have with them.
We saw it right on the outside.
Yes, I know, right? Colleen, I think we can. Sorry, Nana, we can hear your parents in the background.
Yeah, that's because they're 5 feet away from me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
Shush.
I just. Whoosh. Well, I mean, I can, but what's the point of a podcast if you're not chatter-rabbit-abbing?
Not at you guys. This is why I'm
okay.
mostly lurking muted. I'll unmute.
That's
I'll
fair.
unmute to answer things, but
Okay.
or to chime in.
We're gonna be pausing this a lot and talking, or at least I probably will. You guys ready to keep going?
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't have to rewind or anything.
Okay.
Here. Yes.
Ron and Timmy Turner. The Butch Hartman controversy. In 2018, Butch Hartman started a Kickstarter for a family-friendly streaming service. Later on, people found out that the site was actually going to be a Christian streaming service, which Butch had not been clear about at all in the Kickstarter. It has been 5 years, and there's still nothing. People have chopped this up to be a complete and utter scam. Fans don't like Butch Hartman.
We'll talk about this stuff after we finish the section.
A lot of the Danny Phantom fans don't actually like Butch Hartman. He tends to use Danny as clickbait for his YouTube, as well as trying to come up with random controversial comments and videos about the old series. Many of the fans have given him a lot of really fun nicknames, which I will put on the screen here, because I don't swear, I call him Bleach Fartman.
I'll call him it.
What's your guys' favorite? 10 years later videos. Butch has created a few videos about what he thinks would happen to the Danny Phantom characters in the future 10 years later. But a lot of what he has come up with for these 10 years later videos kind of goes against the character's story arc, and a lot of the fans don't really like it. Steven Silver, the...
Okay. Yeah, that all happened. Turned out to... So, I owe some people an apology for that happening, because a couple of us had dug up information on Butch Hartman through an anonymous source through the show on DeviantArt quite a few years back when we were still very young. And so we had a lot of information on Butch Hartman, that he wasn't very good with money, he wasn't really trustworthy about stuff, that he was very manipulative, and so we shared that information, and everybody was like, eventually it just became common knowledge in the fandom, and I for one felt bad because I was like, I don't really have proof. It was kind of a secondhand word of mouth situation where, I just shared the information I got because that's what you did. When you got the information, you shared it with other fans at the time. And so I kind of felt guilty, and I was like, well, he hasn't really done anything. But then he started posting on social media, and at the time, we didn't really know that he was catfishing us. We just thought that he was, the show was canceled. We weren't seeing any reactions from the network. Nickelodeon had gone out of the way to purge our chat rooms, purge our existence, basically, from the internet. They sure did try. And so we shared the information. And as time went on, Danny Phantom started coming back into the public's knowledge. People were remembering things. And then Butch popped up his YouTube channel, and everybody was super excited because he was talking about the shows, the storyboards. And then this OAXIS thing happened. And this was after the whole trans Danny stuff, which we'll talk about that later too, because that was just a shit show, and he should not have even gotten involved with that. But yeah, the biggest thing about OAXIS is nobody actually thought it was going to make its money. So a lot of us we said, hey, don't give him money. If you haven't given him money yet, don't give it to him. Don't, he's not good. He is notoriously not good with money. Now, something happened at the very end of his GoFundMe where all of a sudden all this money came rolling in from I think it was 2 or 3 different sources. And so OAXIS got to keep the money. And was it shady? Oh, yes, it was. But then it came out that he intended to make it a Christian service, which I had kind of assumed based on how he talked, but seeing as I didn't think it would even reach its money goal, I, for one, was more in support of Mr. Enter's video, like his GoFundMe at the time. I think it was a GoFundMe that I was sending people there because I knew that he would at least attempt to produce it. And he was brand new to the industry and a little ragged around the edges, but, seemed like he would at least give it his best shot. And so I was really disappointed when Oaxis hit, but I was like, okay, well, maybe, and then it came out that was Christian and people were upset and we were like, okay, give those people back the money, a certain amount of people. And radio silence. There was no reaction at all. He wouldn't respond to anything. It was just thing as normal. And the fandoms of his shows were just in shambles. People were like, what the heck is going on? You lied to us. You broke our trust. And I felt so bad because I was like, I should have been more vocal. I should have said something. But, I mean, what power do I have? I mean, it's kind of one of those things. And then to find out that he had some projects started, but to not pay his artists, which we'll talk about that again later as well, is even worse. And yeah. So yes, Butch Hartman has lost a ton of goodwill with the fandom, and he will never be able to recover. And I don't like to call him, Bitch Hartman and all those other names because they're kind of childish. I would rather be, if I'm going to insult, it's going to be along the lines of Nickelodeon removed your property from you and gave it to an up-and-coming artist for a graphic novel. Shall we continue the video?
Yes.
Yep.
Years later. But a lot of what he has come up with for these 10 years later videos kind of goes against the character's story arc, and a lot of the fans don't really like it. Steven Silver,
That's why it went to a
character
different
designer on
artist.
Danny Phantom, did his own version of
So
10
cute.
years later, and
I do
gosh
love
darn,
this.
it looks amazing. Kuro the artist. Kuro is an artist who had created a Danny Phantom crossover with Ben 10 called 5 Years Later. Butch took interest in this and Kuro started working for him. But Butch did not credit Kuro and has not paid Kuro yet. Pay Kuro, Butch!
Pay Kuro,
Butch
Butch.
Hartman tracing.
Pay him. Pay your artist. Because if you're not paying Kuro, who's one of the high faces in the fandoms, it's almost guaranteed he's not paying the other people. Honestly.
High profile artist.
High profile. Thank you. Yeah. It's almost guaranteed he's not paying the others as well. So, yeah, that's all I'm going to say now about that because I will get angry if I keep talking about it.
Tracing, no one likes that in the art
We need to
community.
get through this part
Butch
or I'm
has
going to
done
go
it
insane.
$200 commissions and traced them from official
Yeah, he
to
traces
fan art.
$200 fucking commissions.
Nickelodeon steals Risa Sumi's art.
Yeah.
Sorry if I said your name wrong. In the game Nick Extreme Tennis, there was an emote that wasn't from the original Danny Phantom show. It was actually fan art. The people who put it in the game genuinely thought that Risa Sumi's art was from the original show because how good it was. After apologizing and changing the emotes, they actually offered her a job.
Yeah, so that actually is something that happens quite a bit. It shouldn't, but it does because, these employees who are frankly usually overworked and not paid as much as they should be are going in and they're just trying to get done. So they're looking for anything that looks official. And that was actually something we studied when I was doing the media arts program is how to look for things that are official and or not official. And so there is a scene in the show where there is kind of that style outfit, but they took the model from a fan thinking that it was canon and whoopsie, but at least they rectified the situation by offering them a job, and I hope that that person gets paid well because yeah. I mean, a job is a job. I'm not going to complain, but I hope that they get that bread.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, hit and play.
For this next point, my friend Dylan wanted to take over for this part because he's going to be jumping in every once in a while and reading a few of these just to help me out.
The Ember fanboy killer, real name Randy Stair, is a mass shooter infamous for his obsession with Ember McLean, as well as his beliefs in the afterlife that would give Chris Chan a run for his money. If you want a more in-depth telling of this seriously crazed-up Fruit Loops story, you can check out Eleanor Neal's video linked in the description below.
Yeah, so do you remember that?
Nope.
Like,
Nope.
I remember it being a thing, and like rewatching this video, I was like, holy shit, yeah, I remember that. But I didn't pay it much attention at the time because I was like, oh great, another nut bar, you know. But yeah,
I'm not on the internet and I don't really watch the news, so
yeah, that, you know what, that is fair. That is fair. I mean, Ember McLean could get me to do some crazy things, but
yeah,
that's a little too crazy. Too much on the cray side for me.
All right, hit play again.
Don't
We have a
kill
lot of stuff
people.
to get through.
I know.
Yeah, no.
Okay, I'm sorry. I keep pausing.
These are some of the first things that you will see when you enter the fandom. Timmy turns into Danny.
Oh, I hate this
This is the way
series.
that Timmy makes a wish and
Everything I say
becomes
is negative.
Danny. We're just gonna move on.
Yes, please move on. It's terrible. Nobody
That's the
likes
appropriate
it.
response.
Trans Danny. A
Yes.
widely accepted fan theory due to the amount of evidence towards it, as well as the fans' disdain for Butch Hartman and his transphobic and bigoted ways. The main bit of evidence is from season 1, episode 16, Lucky in Love. The episode starts at a water
Do we
park,
wanna
and
talk
Danny
about the
is
trans
only
Danny
boy
now?
wearing a t-shirt
Or-
over his suit. Then, when the ghost attacks, he runs into the women's locker room, only to be
he
pushed out
does.
by Paulina and Star, with Paulina
Yep.
commenting, "I tell you to go to the men's room, but I don't think you qualify." This implies that Paulina is somewhat
Look at his angry
transphobic,
face.
as well as the second main bit of evidence is from when Vlad clones Danny. The only clone that comes out successfully is Danny with an eye. A little girl clone. Vlad
Cute.
tries to make a male clone
Oops.
of Danny, but the only one that's successful is the little girl. Also, clones are technically a perfect copy of the original. If the only copy that came out correct is a girl and not a guy, you see where the fans picked up the evidence from. Also, the guy who designed Danny, Steven Silver, had this to say.
You heard it here. Can you say it one more time?
Danny Phantom is trans.
Thank you.
Moving on. April 3rd.
I mean, that's some pretty compelling evidence, if you ask me.
Yeah. It's very funny because Butch is very good at accidentally creating trans characters, which is extremely
Yes.
funny, and he deserves
It really is. Yeah. Like, and he should have never gotten involved because trans Danny was a thing since I entered the fandom, you know?
From
and
like
it had
way
just-
at the beginning.
Yeah. And so people were like going back and forth, it's not canon. And of course people were fucking with each other. Yes, it's canon. Look at them.
Yeah, because listen,
It's
We
like,
ha-
just let.
we're
And I was like, guys, stop fighting. Nope.
yeah, no, but again, there's a lot of like, I don't know, I feel like a decent chunk of like Danny Phantom fandom culture is also well steeped in the Tumblr sarcasm. So it's
Yes.
like there's plenty of like quote unquote fighting or quote unquote arguing that happens that's just people be like, it's like, oh no,
Being
this is the
little
hill I'll like this is the hill I'll die on. Not because I agree with this point, but because we're just messing with each other because we're going to be little shits to each other, and it's great and it's all in good fun.
Well, it is now, but it wasn't at the time. It was,
Yeah, no,
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
it was. I mean,
and
it was
there
also.
I am in the what?
Oh, I was also going to say it was also at a time that, like, in greater internet things that were happening, like the whole debate of fanon versus canon, and like pushing pushing for things that, like, oh, things have to be canon, things have to be like verbally confirmed, blah blah blah, things like that, and like that was a huge hot thing when it was where it was like, okay, cool, y'all need to just like chill, actually, because whether
This
a
was
thing
before
is
the days of Alex Hirsch,
yeah,
as we'll say. Yeah. Where his main goal was just to fuck with everybody, and everybody loved it.
yes,
Like, at some point, the words of the creator were law. And now it's like, nah.
yeah. Well, and
Which is
because
great.
it was also during a time that there was a lot of the content says one thing and the creators say a separate thing.
Yeah, drives
So
me
it-
nuts.
Yeah, which is a okay, cool. If you're actually going by like what is canon, that's only what's contained in the media. So anything outside of that is extraneous and cannot be taken as canon, including the word of the author. Because if you didn't include it if you didn't explicitly include it in your piece of media, it's not canon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah. Yeah. So that was a thing. I feel bad because I really do like the headcanon, but I always wince every time I hear it because I just remember all that, and it's just like,
Yeah.
just wanted everybody to get along, guys. But everything seems to actually be pretty good now, so I'm chill about it.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. Well, there's always a new influx of very young fans every few years.
Yeah,
and
that don't know how to
they
chill.
often and they often struggle. And I think that's kind of what happened, where Transdanny was such a big thing that we had a lot of new younger fans that didn't quite know how to have discussions at the time.
Yeah, navigate
So,
fandom spaces or like interactions.
Yeah. Yep. And so I actually stopped being a mediator at that point because I was like, I can't do this anymore for my mental health. Like before, I would usually, if there was a conflict, I would, be a go-between for people. And with the Transdanny stuff, I just couldn't do it anymore. I was exhausted mentally, physically, and yeah. So that was a thing. But the headcanon's a good one. Like,
yes,
rewatching the show, I'm like, okay, yeah, no, that makes quite a bit of sense, actually.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Hit play. We need to get through
Let's
things.
go.
You have an
Okay,
hour. You have
let's
less
get
than an
Dan
hour left.
Apocalypse. Every
Oh my gosh,
episode,
Dan
the fandom
Apocalypse.
gets together to take over Tumblr and show their appreciation of the cartoon. Over the years, it's slowly gotten more cursed, and now Dano's everywhere. Dano is what the fans call the one frame of Danny looking directly at the camera. They've even made a phantom version of it.
2015 was the year
Dana
this started.
another fandom holiday.
Ghost
It's like
Swan. How about
Inktober, but
Dana
in May,
Day?
but not just art
Yes.
and any form of art form, as well as like fan fiction. and
If
stuff.
you guys
It's a
ever want to talk,
month-long
just say,
holiday
yo, I want to
show
talk, and then
the
we'll talk.
fandom's appreciation of the cartoon. October. This one is actually just Inktober, but Danny Phantom themed in October.
Oh,
The
October's
canon
all
versus fanon. The fandom often forgets what's canon and what's fanon because there's a lot of it. And a good amount of the fanon actually combines seamlessly with canon.
It's true.
So the confusion starts happening quite a lot.
It's true.
Angst. It's a
Angst.
well-known fact that the fandom likes to torture poor Danny in many different ways. And you may be wondering, why? Why did this happen? Well, it all started with the shipping characters and Butch Hartman being Butch and disliking what was going on. As well as, splitting the fandom, but that's a little further down. People wanted to get back at him, so they started writing angst. In more recent years, it's more or less about let's mess with Butch, and more the fandom has gone off the deep end, let's keep writing angst. And
It
they've
was
gotten
never
really good at it.
Never going back. I'll talk more
In
about that
Season
later.
3, Episode 6, Urban Jungle, Frostbite comments on how Danny's central core is extremely cold. This made people go with the idea of a ghost's core being the center of their being, similar to a human heart being the center of a human being. This was never officially stated in the show, but fans did what they do best. Danny's core. Danny's core in canon, quote-unquote, has been seen to have been an ice core, mainly due to his ghost sense and his ice powers that he would develop later. However, in the Phandom, it could also be seen that he would have a lightning core, mainly due to the fact that he was electrocuted half to death. Vlad's core. Vlad's core is either a fire core or a plasma core, mainly because he is seen throughout the series using both fire and plasma-based abilities. I personally subscribe to Plasma, given that he gave himself the name of fucking Plasmius. Phantom Planet.
So I have a theory because just stop.
Just
Don't
stop
go
right
further. It's not real. So I actually have a theory because, I played all the Danny Phantom games, and I actually have a theory that Danny has an adaptable core. It adapts differently to each of his powers. Like we talked about when we were doing our from Vortex in that one episode. And so it's very likely that his core will shift to accompany which powers he's using at the time, which is kind of what I found interesting, which would make sense if he is in fact tied in with the portal and the ghost energy.
Yeah,
I don't know if that came off right.
Yeah, no, of him just being like adaptable and to whatever, pretty much adaptable to whatever situation that he needs, whatever situation he needs to have, whatever situation he's in, and whatever powers that he needs to have, his core will accommodate that.
Yes. And because in this game he's using fire, electricity, ice, he's using plasma, of course. He's using a whole bunch of different things, and whether or not the games are canon, once again, who cares? But yeah, I just found that very interesting, and I like that.
Same.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So get and play. Unfortunately, Phantom Planet's here.
And isn't canon, fuck you. The fandom hates Phantom Planet with a passion.
We do.
It was originally the series finale, and
it's so bad.
Mainly due to bad writing and characters just acting off. Specifically, they were doing stuff that they wouldn't normally do or make sense for them to be doing. As well as the main ending with Danny revealing himself to the world as the Ghost Boy and Tucker becoming mayor at the ripe old age of 16.
I know something you don't know because I read the spoilers.
Don't give us spoilers.
No spoilers.
But also, upon rewatching Phantom Planet, it was just as bad. I was gonna say something actually substantial, but I don't remember, so I'm clicking play. Okay.
Yeah.
How is this legal in any way, shape, or form? Don't ask me.
Wait a minute. Is that Freak Show? Am I gonna... Okay.
My boy.
I was editing this and I ended up finding like a couple screenshots and stuff, and I ended up finding one with Freak Show in it in the final episode. Of course. Gosh darn it, now I'm gonna have to add Freak Show dies into the iceberg. Anyways, we see a ghost version of Freak Show in the final.
Yeah.
He made a wish to turn himself into a ghost.
He did.
Then they locked him away. So it makes sense that he would be there as a ghost.
Yes, so there's a ghost version of Freak Show and a human version, both running around at the same time.
Good lord.
At least that's what I think. There's two of them.
Oh god, there's more. Oh, there's two of them.
More. I love Freak Show as a villain. I wish we had more human villains in the show.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
All right,
okay,
hit play.
Click and play.
Final episode. In an earlier episode, we see him alive, so that means that he somehow died, probably in prison. I don't know. This is wild. Anyways, we're just gonna move on. Season 3 isn't canon. After the series, head writer Steve Marmel left after Season 2 because of creative differences. The writing was left to Butch. And the show had a serious decline in quality. Some fans have decided that Season 3 isn't canon anymore.
Okay, but we forgive Boxed Up Fury because Box Ghost deserved his time in the spotlight.
He did deserve his time in the spotlight, and I will forever be on the side of Box Ghost.
Yes. Steve Marmel actually did. He worked up until Infinite Realms, the one with the Infomap. That was his final episode on the show. That was his jumping off point. Mm-hmm. Yep. Because you can kind of see where they were planning on going, and then the tone shifts because, yeah. Okay, click and play.
Glowing freckles. We see an old photo of baby Danny. He has freckles, and someone came up with the idea of, what if they glow? And a lot of people really liked that idea. So, you know,
It's such a good idea.
glowing freckles.
It's a good idea. Take
A
notes,
Glitch
people.
in Time. This
Yay!
is a Danny Phantom graphic novel that will be coming out July 18th, 2023.
Tuesday.
Created by Gabriella Epstein. It will be a continuation of the original story, continuing after Phantom Planet, and it will be dealing with Dark Danny.
So nervous.
Ghost Speak. In Season 1, Episode 3,
I've never
One
been
of a
nervous
Kind,
for a new release
Jack
like I've been this
creates
one.
a gadget called the Ghost Gabber, which translates ghost talk to something humans could understand. Fans have come up with it's either a dead language like Latin or Esperanto, or just something incorporeal, supernatural language. Layers. These are a little pocket dimension. Each ghost has their own. It's what they feel safest in. It is shown in the show with the floating doors in the ghost zone. The layers could be controlled by the ghost consciousness that inhabit each one. Haunts. This is referencing the area that the ghost claims to its haunt. It's often said Danny's haunt is Amity Park.
Obsessions.
Oh, so cute.
Obsessions are what give ghosts their purpose. This is another fan creation that can be very easily considered canon. Bad things happen if ghosts do not pursue their purpose or are unable to for whatever reason. Good examples of ghosts pursuing their purpose would be the box ghost's obsession with all things packaging related, the lunch lady's obsession with food, or Skulker's obsession with the hunt. Space and protection obsession. It's a common thing to give Danny a protection obsession in fan creations, which is why he tends to try and protect the people of Amity Park. Some fans, however, have decided to give Danny a space obsession due to the fact that he wants to become an astronaut.
Gets.
You actually brought this up the other day, Nana, when we were talking about how Danny is never more powerful than when he has something he needs to protect.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
quick.
again, it's one of like the ghost obsessions and things. This is one of those fandom things that like the show doesn't outright state it, but it's extremely heavily implied, and then the fandom just gave it words.
Mm-hmm.
And Gracie, we can hear you yawning if you. I don't know if you wanted to mute or not.
Big yawn.
It's very cute.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Sorry.
you're good. I just didn't know that you.
Okay, quick, everybody yawn.
We could hear.
Okay, your turn, Nana.
I was yawning. You just can't hear me. I have quiet yawns.
Okay, click and play.
Okay.
Souped. Danny uses a thermos to capture ghosts in the
So
cartoon. That's led to fans to say, get souped, because thermoses usually contain
idiot.
soup. Field trip into the ghost zone.
I love
a popular fan fiction trope where Danny and his class end up going to the ghost zone for a field trip.
They just need
These
Miss
fics are
Frizzle.
usually really fun.
Exactly.
A lot of shenanigans happen.
Yeah.
Yo versus Young. Butch Hartman posted a video claiming the intro.
Here we are again.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was actually going through my fan fiction, like .NET stuff the other day in case it popped up. The one I remember most is field trips are evil, and evil is all capitalized.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know
I remember
if you-
that one.
Yeah, it's hard to miss it. Okay, click and
To
play.
the show actually began with the word young instead of yo. Considering, however, that Butch Hartman likes to try and change things after the fact just to try and keep himself relevant, I would have to disagree. This is similar to the time he said that the ghosts were not the soul. Wes Weston.
Oh, you just skipped.
Oh, did I skip something? I did not intend to do that.
I would have to disagree. This is similar to the time he said that the ghosts were not the soul. Wes Weston.
Oh, no.
Oh, I didn't skip.
It's just
Okay,
the video, yeah.
I'm gonna have to agree with Dylan there because, as you know, working with voice stuff, there is no ending when the singer says yo. It is yo. There is no sound, sound at the end of it. So the intention might have been young, but that is not what is coming out of the singer's mouth.
Yep.
And I just want to point that out. Yeah. So, okay, back to our boy. Our boy. Look at him.
Boy.
Look at his dumb
Look at him.
face. Oh, I love him.
Face.
It's good face.
There's a random background character that looks like Danny that the fandom has decided to adopt.
Yep.
They named him Wes from the
Yep.
time Danny was to give Sam a ring that said Sam, but upon looking at it upside down, Sam read it as Wes. The fandom gave him a background, and they decided that because he already looks like Danny, and how he's more athletic than Danny, people would assume that Wes is Phantom. But at that same time, Wes has figured out that Danny is in fact Phantom. No one
So
believes
good.
him, however, which leads to people making fics and comics where Danny just changes in front of Wes, and nobody believing him.
It's so
Apparently
good.
Danny and his friends don't really see Wes as a threat and decided to harass him every chance they get, which I find personally hilarious.
So funny.
Blood Blossoms in season 3.
Did you watch that video I sent you the other day, Nana?
You
one
gotta
with
be
Wes?
more specific.
It's the one where Wes is singing and it's like filming of him taking pictures of Danny, and it's using that one song from Gumball.
I think so. I think I was.
We might have to pull it up and watch it on here because it's pretty fantastic. But I did manage to find the initiating post. Surprising no one, it was from Ectolime.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dig through
Well,
my...
that's a name I haven't
It's-
heard for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't-
Also, considering that I found the limit for the number of blogs that you can follow on Tumblr,
Oh no!
it's 5,000, by the way. Yeah, it's not so much that I'm not in the same fandom circles anymore. The content on my dash changes so drastically from like minute to minute, depending on when I am on the computer during the day. Sometimes I just completely miss whole sections of different parts of fandom because I'm on at a different time than most of the people are posting.
Okay, so it all started. Let's see if I can get this up here with this post. Screen. Let's see. Oh, I have 5 million tabs open. Was it this one? This looks right. Oh, no, that's a different one, but it's still just as funny. Wes is rescued and carried bridal style naturally during a ghost attack by Danny, and he leans in and whispers, "I know it's you, Fenton," and Danny drops him in surprise by vertical thoughts.
It's so good.
Oh, it's so good. Okay, I'm gonna find it. They don't make it easy to sort through stuff.
What? Tumblr not having a good sorting system? Couldn't
I
be true.
know. Okay, is it this one?
Our trash hell site being inoperable?
Stripping.
What? What if
Uh,
Danny finds out about people shipping him with Wes and he just rolls with it? Like he flirts shamelessly to Wes sometimes and it's like a joke to him, but Wes is flustered and annoyed by it. And it really bothers him because Danny can actually be pretty suave. It's true.
I know.
Danny can only flirt
So
when he's
good.
not when he's being insincere about it.
There it is. This was the guilty post. Ectolime. I really wish there was a guy named Wes and Danny Phantom, just so people think Danny's ring is for that one guy.
Yes.
And that happened in, I believe it was early March. And people kind of joked about it and laughed about it. But then nothing happened until literally a month later, when all of a sudden it was every fucking where.
It's
You could
listen,
not-
it's those sleeper posts that, like, if you saw the initial post, you're like, oh yeah, I remember. You're like, oh cool, that thing, and then it, like, a month or 6 months later, everyone's talking about this thing and trying to tell you about this thing, and you're like, yeah, no, I saw the post like half a year back, and they're like, no, it's a recent thing. It's like, no. What?
Yeah, it was like, oh my gosh. So of course, people had all sorts of. I saved too many West stuff.
Never enough West things.
I
love my boy.
Oh, here's a
I'm
cute
learning
little,
so much today.
cute little cosplay of Wes by. Doodaloo doo. It'll pull up eventually. Not by me. Come on. Load. Sometimes life just hates you, you know? And it froze.
Dendy Den.
There we go. Looks like the answer is Dendy Den.
Dendy Den.
Yes. Dendy Den. Yes. Yes.
Excellent.
Yep.
Cosplay.
Excellent.
Who the heck is
excellent
Wes?
Cosplay. Who the heck is Wes? Wes is Wes.
All right, you gonna pull the stream back up?
Yeah. Oh, did we get? Yeah, we did get cut off.
We
Share.
got Biggin.
Yeah, we did. Get
Hello, Biggin. Bigling.
Well,
back.
while Gala is getting that pulled up, Gracie, did we say that did we tell you that the origin of my for the rest of my internet life, that little pink tulip that specific picture of a pink tulip is going to be my icon, except every time that I post it to a new, like, make a new thing or need to grab that image, I'm simply going to grab a screenshot, so it's just increasingly poor quality images of that one photo, because it was a free on my computer picture of a pink tulip when I originally made a Tumblr and pulled something and went, I'll change it later, and then never did.
That's awesome.
Yes.
You know what? I'm just going to end up reblogging all this stuff just for prosperity later on. So people can go back and look through it. I'm currently making a new blog that's just archive of all of my Danny Phantom stuff, but I didn't have time to go through all of that.
That's okay. All right. Hit play, Gala.
Okay. Let me get back on track here. Okay. And play.
Episode 2, Infinite Realms, Danny, Sam, and Tucker all end up in the past. While there are blood blossoms that are these red roses with black stems. They have strange anti-supernatural properties. They act kind of like how the ghost shields work in modern day, but they're older, they're a plant, and they're way better at doing what the technology does. The only way to really get rid of the effects from the blossoms is to eat them. Lichtenberg scar. This is a type of scar that someone
Do we want to
gets
stop and talk
after
about
getting
blood
struck
blossoms?
by electricity. Many people have
We'll
given
get to
Danny
that
this
with the
scar after he has
angst
been
and
shocked by
the
ghost.
gore.
Daniel James Fenton. The fandom has agreed that Danny's middle name is James.
Yep.
Mint chip
There
ice cream.
was-
This is commonly agreed.
There was an argument back in the early fandom whether it was James or John. Two of the whitest white middle names you can think of.
It's true.
Oh. Okay, back.
Agreed upon that the fandom. This is commonly agreed upon from the fandom that Danny's favorite ice cream flavor is mint chip.
As it should be.
William versus Edward
I don't like
Lancer.
that chip.
Mr. Lancer has never been given a first name in the show, so the fans have given him most commonly either William or Edward.
See, I like Edward, but I gotta give it to Willie Shakes. Like,
Yeah.
well, it's hard to choose between icons, so I say we have both.
Well,
Yeah.
he does, because he he's an English teacher and he quotes Shakespeare a decent amount. So I
think William is what we should go with, but I don't know. For some reason, he just feels like an Edgar, like Edgar Allan Poe adjacent.
I thought it was Edward.
But yeah, let's go with William. It's William. I'm a dummy. I thought we were going with Edgar Allan Poe reference, but no.
Scroll back like 2 seconds and it would be on the screen.
But we don't scroll backward.
William versus Edward Lancer.
Edward.
Mr. Lancer has never been given a first name in the show, so
William
the fans have given him most commonly either William or Edward. Toast the Ghost. Danny is notably tanner in his ghost form than he is in his human form. In 2019, Nickelodeon posted a short animation and Danny is in it. He notably does not have his tan in his ghost form, which has led fans to create the hashtag #ToastTheGhost.
Oh,
yeah.
And
even edited screenshots of the episode to give Danny his tan.
Going Ghost Squared. In the game Nicktoons Attack of the Toybots, Danny can go ghost after already being in his ghost form. This has made fans make such comments as, did Danny just go full ghost?
And just heckin' die. Yeah.
Someone commented that he should be able to go extra human as well, being the inverse of going full ghost. I'm unsure as to what extra human would do for him. Maybe it would turn him into Stoner Danny again, but I digress.
Yeah, that kid was on something.
The fans also comment along the lines of, Full Phantom is much stronger than Danny's regular ghost form, but it would also drain his life force. Danny can feel his humanity slipping away in this extra form. He does not tell Sam or Tucker any of this because he knows it would freak them out and worry them.
I have canon Johnny punches him in the face.
Stuff are along the lines of full Phantom mode cannot have his legs, constantly having that wispy little tail thing he gets sometimes when he's flying, as well as his ghostly wail being far stronger, being able to lock ghosts in the ghost zone permanently.
This is how ghost gods
or
are
whoever
born.
else gets hit by the blast.
Yep, yeah, it is.
Danny chooses not to use this version, for it would cause too many casualties.
That's probably a good plan, Danny.
His one brain cell was working that day for him.
He's also very forgetful in this form. As the longer he's in the full Phantom form, his memory of his human life begins to slip away. At some point, he may forget how to turn back.
And this actually makes sense because the area he has to go into in the game is full of highly toxic materials. So yeah, he could go in there as just regular old Ghost Danny, but
he might come out of it permanently full Ghost Danny.
Exactly.
He must have been laughing about that angst post a while ago, but, well, you'll see how bad or good it gets.
The Fenton's driving.
Oh
Jack
my gosh.
Fenton is comically bad at driving. The Fenton's A+ parenting. This is a sarcastic tag about the Fenton parents and their amazing, terrible parenting skills.
I'm not gonna lie, they could be worse. They're pretty
they could
bad,
definitely
but
be worse, but there is a vast...
They are yeah.
They could be vastly improved.
Yes,
they could definitely be worse, but also they could be way, way better.
Yes.
Danny's mullet.
Oh gosh.
In the episode The Ultimate
mullet.
Enemy, we see an evil, dark, older Danny, nicknamed Dan by the fandom, who has a mullet. Will Danny get a mullet when he gets older too?
Yeah, Dark Dan is not
Red
canon.
Huntress.
It's weird.
This is one that fits in so well with the canon that people thought it was canon, but it is actually canon.
So
Valerie, in her red suit form, where she fights ghosts and stuff, was never given a superhero name. So the fandom gave her her own superhero name, meaning Seeing that it is a red suit and she is a huntress, the fandom has agreed upon calling her the Red Huntress.
Yes.
Yeah.
SpongeBoo! It's
my
a
gosh.
ghost SpongeBob. It's just
Okay.
SpongeBob, but spooky.
So there is a
Dana want a
section
stick.
in Nicktoons
You
Unite
remember
where
Dan Apocalypse?
Danny actually goes and
Take
catches
the
ghosts
first
for the
Danny
Flying Dutchman.
face. Wait, put him on
I
a
didn't
stick.
hear that.
Dana
You
want a
gotta pause
stick.
it.
Sorry, I'm trying to get through this because I looked, hey, I'm at this ocean. So yeah, in Nicktoons Unite, there is actually a section where Danny makes a deal with the Flying Dutchman that if he gets the Flying Dutchman his crew back, the Flying Dutchman will let SpongeBob and his friends go. Actually, SpongeBob was always free to go. He was going to keep the other three imprisoned in his
Of
ship.
course.
So, yeah. So, no, if we're going through the lens of Nicktoons Unite, it is very canon that the ghosts in the SpongeBob universe are very similar to the ones in Danny's universe.
Yes.
Also, look at Amethyst Ocean. I remember when she popped up, and was just like, I'm going to take this tag name, and it's going to be my name, and everybody's like, oh, okay. And then just consistently proceeded to upload consistently fantastic art.
Yeah.
Like, 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
You go, girl. Okay, can I hit play?
Yes.
Amethyst Ocean, a creator who has done a lot of amazing Danny Phantom art and animations. I'll be putting links to their YouTube and their
One more for the Danny Sam ship from the
DeviantArt
show.
art into the description below. Please go check them out. It's amazing.
Yes, go check
And that
them out.
concludes
Yes.
Layer 2.
Woohoo! We did it!
Oh
no.
my gosh.
Layer 3. You've started entering the depths.
There's a lot.
Cancellation protests.
Oh, I have these
People
pictures.
really
I
didn't
brought
want
them up
this
for
show to
tonight.
end, so people protested in New York's Times Square as well
Good
as
time.
UCLA's campus in LA before the Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Award, even having call to action events between 2006 and 2008. They wanted to put pressure on Nick to get the show back on air.
I remember this because it was, oh, wait, they actually did. They actually followed through on this. I can't believe they actually followed through on it. Holy, iconic! 10 out of 10. Oh, it was amazing. Oh, do you remember that at all, Nana?
Again, I was neither on the internet nor did I watch the news.
Right.
I was in my own little Danny Phantom world.
That's fair. Okay.
True fans.
Oh, this was a
and
dumb
anti-fans.
thing
Guild
that
forums both
existed.
used to interact often, but didn't really care for how people shipped to the characters of the show.
Yeah.
So you made true fans and anti-fans. True fans were people who followed the original shows, ships, and stuff like that. And anti-fans were people who kind of went off and did their own thing. Mainly Danny X Bled stuff. Rewrite projects. Throughout the years since Danny
Yeah. So I'll make this quick, but yeah, that was kind of the first time the fandom fell apart. It was a huge purge. Lots of accounts were lost. Yeah, it was very interesting. So it was like when you entered the fandom, it was very squeaky clean. There wasn't much deviation from the plot. It's like everything had been taken and just bleach had been dumped over it, and everything was starting fresh. And I know that sounds bizarre based on what the fandom is like now, but like, yeah, when I started doing stuff before kind of the show's ending in that area, it was very, and I didn't realize it at the time. I only kind of think back on it now because now I know how fandoms are supposed to kind of exist and interact, and I'm like, yeah, that there was definitely something wrong when I entered, because everything was just so squeaky clean, so nice, and yeah, that didn't last long.
Yeah, give us our good old well-earned crust.
Well earned. Yes. He gets a happy ending? No. We refuse.
Phantom ended, people have tried to rewrite and recreate the show.
Yeah.
And I've really gotten too far, but, you know, still. Dash straight up
Another
calls
thing I
Danny
do feel guilty of, I should have been more supportive of that one project, because when they said, we're going to rewrite the show and da-da-da, and we're going to have animes and everything, and I said, gotta be careful because the network will come for you and shut it down. And sure enough, that's what happened. And I feel bad, but I did attempt to warn them, but I could have gone about it better. So I do apologize to that group of people. I should have been a little more easy going about that and explained it a little bit better at the time. Okay, play.
Twink in season 1, episode 4, at
Yeah.
42 seconds into the episode. Roll the clip.
Sorry, I was just passing through.
I'm so precious.
Now that Twink is out of the way.
Lance Thunder. A background character that normally does the news and weather of Amity Parks and News. He often covers ghost attacks.
10 out of 10.
There's also a popular
I
roleplay
love this
account
person.
on Tumblr who does
So
weather
good.
updates every day. It's really wholesome and really funny because this roleplay account literally updates every day on the weather of Amity Park.
It's so good.
Raisins.
So
The fandom seriously just can't spell the word raisins, which is really
No.
funny because as I was typing
No.
out this document, I too have spelled raisins wrong.
nobody can spell raisins correctly. I
Ranch
think
too.
it's lightning outside.
Ranch
Originally
2, I
from
love Ranch
this
2.
post where
Ranch
the
2
original
was
thought was
amazing.
that Danny's eyes would glow in the dark, but Tumblr, being Tumblr, added to the situation, which
course they
led
did.
to Ranch 2's creation. And now, a dramatic
taste like
reading of
Ranch
Ranch
2?
2. Danny Phantom AU, where his eyes glow or at least reflect even in human form. So basically, all I want to see is one of the Fentons going downstairs at 3 a.m. only to find Danny raiding the fridge with his glowing eyes. Maddie. Honey, your eyes, why are they glowing? Danny lost his last brain cell to death, deceased at 14. I ate ectoplasm. Maddie. Straight? Danny. No, I warmed it up and dipped my tater tots in it. Maddie, disappointed mother and very excited scientist. What did it taste like? Danny, Ranch 2. Ranch 2! And then somebody, of course, made a comment.
Of course. Yep,
Danny?
Absolute
Honey, your
girl.
eyes, why are they glowing? I ate ectoplasm.
He's eating yogurt with a fork.
Straight?
Yes!
No,
I love
I heated it up and dipped my tater tots into it. What did it taste like?
10 out of 10.
I
Ranch
love that
2
he
is my
says
favorite thing ever.
he says the number 2. He
Ella
doesn't say
Phantom.
TWO, he says the number 2.
Naming two characters
Yes,
Danny with only a
yes.
slight spelling difference is really dumb. So people have called Daniela Ella instead of Danny with an I. So it's less confusing.
Yeah, I didn't think of that,
Printer
but now
Pan's
it
Danny.
makes sense.
While printing out some
I've
art,
got that
Tumblr
one,
user
if we were to look at it.
Guys, I'm sorry I don't know how to say your name, had a bit of printer error giving Danny's normally blue pants pink stripes.
It's
And
so
of course the fandom being the fandom latched onto this and started making their own art of it.
Oh, that was what the source was. I remembered seeing
Yes.
that, but I didn't know that it came from like an
Oh.
actual just like printing error, which makes
It
sense
was
because that was what it
so-
looked like.
Yeah, it was so funny. Like, oh, nope, that's Diddles. Let's see. I've got it here. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. Yes. Yes. Whoop. I want you and this one. Yeah, so also they have this really cool Danny Phantom clicker. I think it still exists. There's a bunch of cool little Danny Phantom things. Like, there was a Danny Phantom Shimiji, I think they were called. That would crawl around your little desktop, and it was the cutest thing. It was Danny. But yeah, fabulous. Isn't this great?
Yeah.
Like 10 out of 10. Fabulous. Yep, Sam, they're not pink. They're salmon. You wouldn't understand.
I wouldn't expect you to understand. Dude,
Nobody asked
Nobody
you.
asked you, Tucker.
Why am I drawing these? Ectolyme, you are literally one of the biggest blogs I've had the pleasure to come across. I love this artist. So glad that this blog. Yeah, just go and follow Ectolyme. Like, you won't regret it. Like, they've got a Mob Psycho.
Yes.
On there. They were also big, Gravity Falls. I think this was Detention. No, this was Randy Cunningham.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they did a bunch of Mob Psycho 100. They did a bunch of Danny Phantom, Gravity Falls, and Randy Cunningham. Yeah. Look at the babies.
Okay, this is Detentionaire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 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 A lot of people don't know about Detentionaire. It was one of those shows that I think it was produced in Australia, and by the time it came over to the United States, Cartoon Network had gotten the rights to it, and they basically aired all the episodes out of order and destroyed the show from the inside out. It never made it to television, I don't think.
Wow.
And if it did, it wasn't very well. But it is worth your time to watch Detentionaire. Just be warned, it does end on a cliffhanger, and it is story-driven.
Ah.
Yeah.
That's what fanfic is for.
It's true. But it's so good. So good. Okay.
Back to the iceberg.
Back to the iceberg. We might just have to have another one of these where we just go through fandom stuff. Because, like...
I mean, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. I mean, even more. Because this iceberg, we're only touching the surface. This thing goes deep.
Yeah, which, to be fair, we're only halfway through it.
That's true. I mean, I've watched this a couple times.
Yeah.
Because that's...
Ghostweed. It's like catnip, but for ghosts.
Ghost catnip.
Mortified, a popular fan fiction on AO3 by Marcellus with 698,187 words and 316 out of 319 chapters. It started in 2019 and it updates every Friday. I will put a link to that in the description below. Telekinesis. Danny just straight up has telekinesis in season 3, episode 8, and nobody talks about it. Headless Danny. Original production art that never came true.
I love these.
Of Danny carrying his decapitated head. Fans doing what fans do best took this and ran with it. It would have been a really cool episode.
I love
Headless
in
song
Seattle.
Ember McLean.
It's so funny.
I know, right? Well, and see, there are ones that I'm not even sure if they were real or not because they're so well done and they're almost that quality. But like, yeah, because there was a time when people would go through and make their own, and they were all so good. And yeah, I actually wanted to write fan fiction for a bunch of them, but I never found the time because I couldn't even complete my own fan fiction. Okay, I'm gonna hit play.
The full version of the song didn't come out until 2010 and is really good. Dissection/vivisection fic memes. People all joke about the dissection and vivisection memes and stuff, but it couldn't possibly be real, right? Nobody actually wrote dissection or vivisection, right? Right? The memes are good anyways.
You're coming in for questioning and experiments. Lots and lots of really painful experiments.
Secret Trio.
Oh my god. Okay. So, yes. Remember how I said that the fandom was very squeaky clean when I entered it? Well, there was one individual fanfic that literally changed the fandom overnight called Lab Rat.
I remember Lab Rat.
You remember? Yeah. It literally, everybody went, oh.
Yeah.
Overnight. The next day, it was just fanfiction. The entire.
I remember that.
It was so funny. It was so beautiful. Yeah.
That's how one person does something and everyone else collectively goes, huh, and then about 3 days to a week later, it's just a solid wall of stuff. And if you miss that inciting incident, you're like, where did this come from? But if you were there, you're like, you can cite it. It's like the birds flying in before an ocean storm. You're like, oh, I can sense it coming.
Yep.
If you ignore the warning signs, it will get you.
Yeah. Yep. It's always like, oh no, and then it happens.
Yes.
And it's beautiful.
A crossover between Danny Phantom, Jake Long, and Randy Cunningham. All three of them are teens who have to hide their identity of being a superhero.
Oh, secret trio, right?
They all kind of just fit together.
Yes.
Flynn
They do.
Fenton.
Go ahead, pause real quick. Yeah. Go for it.
I love the secret trio so much. I'm really into Teen Teen. I'm working on fan fictions and stuff right now for Teen Teen. But like secret trio, they're so dumb. And I thought I was selling Jake short. I thought, no, Jake isn't this dumb. He's a good boy. I need to go back and rewatch American Dragon Jake Long so I can show myself that Jake is a good, smart boy.
Good, yes. Smart, no.
He has dragon brain.
He has dragon brain. He has high-key lizard brain.
High-key lizard brain. And he's such a good boy. He's doing his best. And it's best.
He just makes very dumb decisions constantly.
Oh, so dumb. And I love him so dearly.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Dustin and I were actually sitting there talking. My brother walks in and he goes, so how's it going? I'm like, he's so dumb. He is so dumb. Dustin, I don't understand. He's as dumb as Danny. And he goes, actually, Jake is just dumb. Danny, the universe is out to get him.
It's true.
And I was like, you're right, and you should say it.
I would say Randy has the brain cell, but that's also not true.
No. Randy Howard has the brain cell.
Yes. Listen, Randy knows better and still does it. Jake is trying his best. He's just
so
dumb.
Hard.
Danny knows better, but the universe says no.
But one time we were talking about who would be good at leading Teen Teen, and we were like, it has to be Kim Possible because Ben's always running off doing his own thing. Jake has lizard brain. Jenny is just a sweet pea and just should not be put in charge of anything. And Danny physically cannot because he would make the correct choices, but the universe is literally out to kill him.
Yeah.
Again.
Listen, Danny's the plans guy, but Kim has to be the one to actually tell everybody and implement them one, because it can completely 100% be Danny's plan as long as Kim is the one carrying it out. Because if they can both be doing the exact same plan, Kim's will succeed and Danny's will fail, simply because the universe takes one look at Danny Phantom and goes, no. And takes one look at Kim Possible and goes, yes.
Yeah. I mean, same.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it'd be something really stupid, like a bird would fly into Jake's face or something.
Yes, and cause a butterfly effect that makes the whole rest of the team fall to terrible ends.
Yep.
All right, back to the iceberg.
Okay.
Which is the original character he made in 2020. This character is Danny and Jazz's older brother who went missing 10 years before the events of the series. After Jack and Maddie opened the ghost portal, a ghost named Misery Vex had grabbed Flynn and took him into the ghost zone. The reason Misery Vex kidnapped Flynn was to train him to become a warrior to keep the balance. Because Flynn was in the zone for so long, he ended up getting powers. Which never said what kind of powers, but he has powers now. Inside the ghost zone, Flynn goes by Exodus and acts like a cop. He is supposed to be He's supposed to liberate ghosts, and from what? Pariah Dark? Danny kind of takes care of that later on. Walker? Not really. A lot of this backstory doesn't really make sense. It downplays Danny getting his powers from the portal, mainly because in the series, the portal Danny gets his powers from is the first successful portal his parents actually made. It's interesting to think that he could have had an older brother, but it doesn't really work with the actual plot of the series, and this is why it's an OC and not something actually somewhat canon.
And this is why the network removed the show from Butch's control. I'm just saying. Like, it's very clear why the decision was made. And I don't like it when networks hand people's creations over to others, like with Craig McCracken and a lot of the other creators who have been, kind of snubbed by the network, especially if they have new ideas. But with Butch, it's very clear that he was not he did not understand his own show. Especially when it comes to these future videos, like he's talking about things in the future and it's like, that doesn't flow. Like this whole older brother thing is like, what? I know the Fentons aren't good parents, but they aren't that bad of parents. Like, I don't know. Just
yeah. Well, and it's also something that literally never gets touched on or talked about in the show whatsoever, or even hinted at in the show. And it's like, okay, you are throwing in new plot wrenches that have no prior grounding in any of the even potential plot that could have been laid out in the show earlier.
And you can't do that. That's just
It's like you can write new stuff that you weren't originally intending into a show, only as long as you painstakingly go back through and find threads to be able to tie it into. Because if you just throw something on wholesale, your whole thing is going to unravel.
Yeah. Well, and it's how we know that Butch Hartman was not the writer of the show, because anybody who writes anything, it's painstakingly goes through their story, typically. Or at least with I don't know about everybody. I guess I do, and most other writers I know do. But okay, we need to hit play.
Also, these designs. Oh God, the colors. Ah, geez, they give me pain. Anyways, a Tumblr user named The Stove is on Fire rewrote and redesigned this character as well as renamed Phantom to Flynn Walker, making him Danny's cousin, because Walker is often given to Maddie as a maiden name, as well as to Aunt Alicia. This also gives Aunt Alicia a son and a reason for her marriage to fall apart. Instead of being kidnapped into the zone, he fell into a naturally spawning ghost portal at a young age. Alicia had seen what had happened and her husband didn't believe her. She ended up isolating herself and only actually communicating with Maddie because she believed her, and Maddie and Jack promised to find Flynn. This fits in canon because they keep repeating to their own kids that ghosts are dangerous, because they would have seen what it had done to the family because they've already lost a family member. It also would have been a very sensitive subject, so the adults would have never really went into details with the kids, which would be the reason why Daniel and Jazz don't remember their older cousin, because they were fairly young at the age when it happened. Now, what happened to Flynn after he fell into the zone? Literally anything, but Stove went with a nerfed version of him. He survived on his wits and luck alone. Over the years, he managed to gain allies and eventually learn how to fight ghosts with old traditional means, like blood blossoms and ectoranium. He lives in a hermit-style situation with alchemy to keep him safe. During the beginning, either first few months to the first few years, he's tried to get home. He tried his gosh darn best to get home, but it never really went well. But as time has passed, he has found that the ghost zone is more of a home to him than any hazy childhood memories. Lastly, Flynn Walker's design is way better here. The colors blend much more seamlessly, as well as with the blood blossoms around his belt, makes him seem like he's actually trying to survive. From Butch's story of hero origin story to a tragic missing kid growing up in a bad situation to become someone strong and able to protect himself, the Stovetop on Fire has done a marvelous job at reworking this character.
That is, yeah, I don't think I can add anything to that. It's
so
perfect.
Good.
It fits in with the tone and like the discussions of the show. It's, like 3,000 out of 10, frankly.
Yeah. Which again, that's one of the things that the fandom is very good at. We have people that are very good at taking either things from canon or things that could fit into canon and figuring out very clean, clear ways that they could fit into canon to expound, like the fix-it fix and like that with Flynn. It's like it just needs it like decent base idea, but needs a lot of work to be able to fit it in and figuring out those ways to fit it in.
Yes,
come join us on the dark side.
Shaped birthmark. In Phantom Planet we see Danny shirtless and he has a Florida-shaped birthmark. This is probably why he wore his shirt at the pool.
Okay, it's stupid because his parents would have put together the dots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Phantom Planet isn't canon, so... Kyle Weston. Kyle is another background character that the fandom adopted. Considering he looks like Wes, he was made into an older brother to him, who either completely is oblivious of the ghosts and think everything is fake and not real, or the fact that he 100% knows what's going on and is just trying to mess with his little brother.
It's the second one.
It is the second one, and they actually have a father as well. The fandom actually made him a father as well. I don't think that was covered in this one, but yeah, there was a big movement, and people were like, "Well, what about that one guy from the wishing well scene, who is a businessman?" So of course the fandom did what the fandom does best. And we're like, heck yeah, we are totally going to follow through on that. And so, gonna find this. Oh, hey, look, the shelf Danny thing. More tittles, pink pants. More pink pants. That's a lot of pink pants. Oh. They don't make it easy to scroll through stuff on here. That's for sure. You know what? Well, I'll reblog them later. But yeah. So yeah, their dad is a businessman who works for Vlad Masters, and so there's a few like cute little comics where like he's teaching Vlad how to do social media, or like they ship him with Vlad and stuff like that. And yeah, so it's just neat. I love the fandom. Okay, back to Lil Nas X.
Nas X's gay awakening. Lil Nas X has posted a TikTok confirming that Danny Phantom was in fact his gay awakening.
Gross name.
Yeah.
Phantom name rights. In the Danny Phantom universe, there seems to be Danny Phantom merch. Danny doesn't really comment on it, as well as, doesn't really seem to have any copyright to it. So who owns the copyright to Danny Phantom in the Danny Phantom
Vlad
universe?
does.
Yeah, it's Vlad.
Oh my clockwork. Instead of people saying, oh my god, in fics and stuff, they will sometimes have Danny say, oh my clockwork.
It's a good alternative.
Boxer Box Ghost. This is what the fandom has given the Box Ghost as a full name.
Beautiful.
Lancer is clockwork. This is a theory saying that Lancer is clockwork. Danny is clockwork. This is another one of those clockwork theories, but it's Danny becomes clockwork when he gets older. I'm just going to point out the fact that Dan ends up trapping Danny in the future in the episode The Ultimate Enemy via him fusing a time medallion to Danny, and I don't think it ever shows Danny losing the time medallion as in he's never unfused with it, meaning he has some weird time abilities, but like nobody ever mentions it.
So I am going to stop LaceForest there. That is one thing that they don't actually show the removal of it, but Vlad does rip the ghost out of Danny, and supposedly the medallion is there. But we do never get a answer on that. So it is a very real possibility.
Yeah.
They just conveniently skipped that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
LexApocalypse. LexApocalypse is a Tumblr user who was off doing some filming or something, and all of her mutuals ended up changing their profile pictures to hers, and a bunch of stuff happened like that, and then she came back and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, you're back!" type of thing.
It was
and
scary!
It was a very short little apocalypse, but it was cute. Blonde Sam.
Our buddy was gone. It was scary.
Sam's parents don't have black hair, meaning either Sam's mom cheated or Sam is dyeing her hair black. Burger King
I fully
merch.
believe.
It happened. There's merch.
I believe Sam dyes her hair. Absolutely.
Oh, 100%.
Also, Burger King merch. Oh, okay. Yeah, you can get the Burger King merch still. I think it's $100 though for it, because it's so rare. But there are other options now that you can buy stuff for Danny Phantom. If you want to pay $60, I know the Funko Pops resellers are still selling them at around $60, and then you can always get the figure, which I have sitting around here somewhere, but Lord knows I can't keep anything straight these days. And then, yeah, you can also get, come here. Guys fight me all the time. You can also get the book Stage Fright still. I think somebody stole this one from a library and sold it online. So you can get that as well. And you can still buy the series now, which wasn't something you could do for quite a while. So there are options now if you want to get a hold of Danny Phantom merchandise, which I highly recommend. Are you back, Nana?
Oh, I never left.
Oh, okay.
I'm
okay.
just quietly lurking here.
Oh,
doing
okay.
what I do
Currently
best.
lurking. Yum, 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 yum. Actually, currently lurking on Tumblr is fantastic, and everybody should go follow them.
It happened. Montrego. I'm not too sure exactly what they wanted for this one, but this is all I found for it, so I hope you guys enjoy. Layer 4. I have turned Layer 4 into only doing AUs and that type of thing. Because by the time you get here, you're probably have run into quite a few of these.
You might need to touch grass.
So let's just talk about a couple of them. I know there's a lot more than what we have here, but
yeah,
I'll
Even better,
do
go touch
more
moss.
of these the next time I make.
What was that, Nana?
I said, even better, go touch moss. It's very soft.
Exactly.
Another
Moss is
Danny
great.
Phantom iceberg. Because I'll go into detail on that later. Batman!
Yes.
In more recent years,
Yes.
the amount of crossover with Batman has risen quite a bit. People just really want to see Danny be a part of the Bat Fam.
Yeah, it used to be Teen
Ghost
Titans,
King
but
AU. This is
it's
an
more
AU based
currently
around the
Batman
fact that
now.
Danny defeated the previous Ghost King. So you know what that means? He's the new Ghost King.
That is absolutely one of my favorite AUs, and that's very could be canon. It was just one of those things that just never got expanded on because the show got cut short, but absolutely they were setting that up to be a thing.
I would just like to say that whoever put those dominoes into effect that made the Ghost King AU slowly become a thing, and I just know that that beautiful, smart, incredible person who clearly intended everything to happen the way it did is having a great day, and that someday she is able to do a stream where they talk about Danny Phantom and never update that fan fiction ever again.
Oh my god, was that you?
That was me. Yeah, Pariah's Heir, I think it was. It was so bad. It was so bad, but nobody was using the concept, and it was driving me crazy. I think
is
one
amazing.
other person, I think one other person had like written it at the time, but like, yeah. And so I posted it, and then after a while, all of a sudden people started going, and then it started popping up, and now it's a regular thing, and I'm just like, yes, victory. It took me 16 years, but by gosh, we got there. We got there.
That's amazing.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Because it's one of my favorites.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
It makes complete and total
Inverted
sense.
slash.
What?
I said it makes complete sense is the thing.
Doesn't it? That's why I was so blown away that there were no fan fictions about it at the time. I was like, there's no Ghost King Danny. We need this. Why is no one writing it? And so I wrote a terrible fan fiction. And it was really bad. Like, really bad. Like,
that's okay. It just needed to exist.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. 15-year-old me really wanted it to exist and willed it into existence. Even though it probably should not have existed.
It absolutely should have existed.
Yes, yes.
All right.
I mean, I'm never taking it down, so until fan fiction goes, Yep. I did get a Archive of Our Own account, so I'm going to start posting on that probably here.
Transfer it over.
So fair. Okay, let's continue.
Reverse Trio AU. This is basically along the lines of, what if one of the other members of the trio got the ghost powers? So,
yes,
ghost powers Sam, ghost powers Tucker. Reverse AU is basically where Danny was originally a ghost and became half human.
Spookums.
Oh.
Teen Vlad AU.
Vlad
is
here.
a teen half along with Danny.
Oh my gosh,
or he's just a teen half.
Oh,
Corpse AU. There's two different versions of the corpse.
I like the ones where they swap and like Vlad is the good guy and Danny's just an evil little gremlin running around.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite. Yes.
The first version is that Danny is just possessing his human corpse to try and keep living as a human. The other is that when Danny turns into a ghost, he drops a body. When he turns human, he creates a new one. It's very cursed.
It's
Clones AU, an AU where the clones from the episode Kindred Spirits survive. Disabled Danny AU, an AU where Danny either was disabled from the accident or was born disabled, either physically or mentally. You can find both.
Danny Phantom Fantasy AU.
Tumblr user 13th Cat, or KC, created this one. It's basically a fantasy D&D where Danny is turned into a lich. Sam is a...
Have you watched the Pitchfork Kids video?
I don't think so. I mean, I might have. I just probably don't know.
Okay.
Don't remember it. But I've absolutely seen this art because Lich Danny made me go slightly insane.
Yes.
Also, the Necromancer Druid multi-class is perfect.
Yes. I actually kind of want to work them into our campaign.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But honestly, for my D&D playing folks out there, Necromancer Druid is absolutely a multi-class that you should do because it is extremely fun and you can do a lot of terrifying things with it. It's great.
It's so true. Oh.
Okay. Romantic Druid, and Tucker is an Archer Artificer. Casey made a really cool animatic with the storyline, so I will be linking that in the description. Go check it out. Okay, for this next one, I have to say again, I don't swear, so like, Danny Fenton is a little crap.
Oh, he's a little fucking
See this
shit.
image here for the actual one.
He's swearing, this is fact.
A popular tag on AO3 where Danny just acts like a little chaotic crap. It's great.
It's true.
Danny effing dies.
I'll say it, he's a little fucking shit.
Yep.
A little gremlin. A little, what's the word? A little horror. What?
He's a little turd.
He is a turd. Like, people are like, oh, he's not that sassy in the series. And I'm like, have you and I been watching the same series? Look at this child. He is clearly causing problems on purpose.
Yes. And enjoying it.
When the universe isn't trying to kill him again.
Yes.
But, you know, it's gotta take it as it comes. Okay.
Another popular on AO3 where Danny just straight up dies.
Yeah.
Again.
Rip.
Portal AU. There's two versions of this Portal AU. The first one is that the ghost portal is alive. And the second one is that Danny becomes the ghost portal and just throws up ghosts.
I believe it.
Another cursed one.
Yep.
The best part about these AUs is you can mix and match them. Like,
it's great, yes.
Yeah, these don't have to be singular in their box. You can weave them together in an unholy fabric of absolute angst.
Yeah.
Monstrosity. And yeah. And everybody be like, oh, that's great. That's good. Finally, some good food. Yes.
No one knows AU. An AU where no one knows Danny has ghost powers, and like, what would happen if Danny got his powers alone and just didn't tell anybody?
Angst.
Undercover Phantom AU. This is an ongoing comic on Tumblr by user Artist's Fingers. It kind of jumps off of the Nobody Knows AU, but Danny is stuck in ghost form because of Lad, of course. And, you know, has to do things, I guess. It's a really good comic. Go check it out. I'll put the link in the description below.
That one's really good.
Gritty reboot Riverdale AU. This is the one that I feel like is going to be more of our future, and then just an AU, but like, you know. But basically, it's a gritty and serious and like romance-driven type of like remake. And it's gonna have terrible writing type of thing. It's just gonna not be great, but it's gonna be fun in a bad way.
It's gonna be fun in a bad way.
Yep. I just want to say I am so disappointed that the live-action Powerpuff Girls reboot got canceled. Like, I am so sad because we knew it was going to be bad. Like, absolutely knew it was going to be terrible. Awful. Completely terrible. But I was so looking forward to that awful. Like, because the previous Powerpuff Girls, I think Powerpuff Girls 2016, was just insultingly bad. Like, just a egregious mistake to the original, like, that we haven't seen the likes of. So I was ready for a full-on, absolute garbage live-action Riverdale-style Powerpuff Girls. I was on board. And then they canceled it because they're cowards.
Yeah.
I was probably the only person on board, but I was on board. I was like, I am so ready for this awful live-action Powerpuff Girls. Because it can't be made into live-action. It just can't. Oh, it's one of those things that has to stay in animation. Because if it comes to live-action, it will be awful.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's my little Powerpuff Girls fun nugget of the day.
Bad ending AU. Danny, Sam, and Tucker all end up doing their evil endings. Danny either becomes Dan or an evil version of the Ghost King. Sam gets her evil plant powers, and Tucker gets his Egyptian King abilities, and they all be evil together.
Yep.
And we're gonna get into more other things, not really like AUs, but like other things for fan fiction. Lost Time. A platonic ship between Clockwork and Danny. In fanon, Clockwork has become more of a mentor to Danny. I don't know how to say this one. Dania? I'm too dyslexic. A Hive Academy AU where Vlad sends Danny to villain school, and Danny decides to just make it very cursed very fast. This is by Tumblr user TK Draws Stuff. It's really fun. I think you'll get most of the gist of this whole AU from this short comic, which I will now read.
Yay!
Danny. This is stupid. Tucker. Hey dude, at least he left your Holy crap, it really says evil name. He left it blank. Your description is blank too. Why? Probably Sam. Probably the closest thing the old Fruit Loop can get to chivalry. Letting me pick evil school and heroing separate. Then again, this is Vlad. It's probably convenient for him to... Wait. Blank? Horse head, scarf, poncho. He accidentally becomes one of the Academy's most promising students and is wearing this the whole time. King
So good.
crap, man, it's amazing. If you want to read the full document, it gets really, really funny right after this. So please go and check it out. I'll have the link in the description below.
Yes.
Checkmate. It's another
so
really
good.
popular Danny Phantom fanfiction, which I will put the link in the description down below. There's going to be a lot of links down there.
Yes. Yes. It
Pearl.
was the fanfiction.
Yeah, I remember that.
Everybody read it, and I bawled like a baby. It was so freaking well written. Still is one of the best written Danny Phantom fanfictions ever.
I hope you know that I am going full force back into my Danny Phantom fanfic BS.
Good.
Every once in a while, I cycle back to Avatar and Danny Phantom fanfic, and I'm just like, well, time to fall face first. This Witcher fanfic is another one of those. It'll be like, I'll go several months or most of a year, and then it'll be like, you know what? Binges all of the fics that I've already read.
Yes, yes. I mean, you might as well. Like,
Yes.
it's good content. Like,
Yeah, it was good the first time. It's even better the 10th or 15th time you read it.
I don't know if I could do Checkmate again though. It's very long and very extremely well written, but you go into it and it takes you for a ride and it doesn't let go until it ends.
Yeah. There's a couple fanfics that I've read only once that were like hands down some of the best fics or best stories in general that I've ever read, and I don't know if I'll ever have the emotional wherewithal to read them again because they were
Pits by Cordia.
Which one?
Pits.
Oh,
the one
which
with
one
Walker. And Danny gets thrown into the ghost zone pits where he has to fight for his life.
Yeah, that one was extremely good.
Only read that one once.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was another rough one, but it was so good.
So good. Yeah, my favorite was actually one that's been deleted. It was the Why Do You Stay? And because fanfiction doesn't have any archiving capabilities, I will never ever find that writer ever again. But yeah, they were the one who convinced me to write fanfiction.
Oh, but nice.
Yeah, they were like, you should write fanfiction too, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not as good as you. Like, I'm really bad. I should not write fanfiction. And they were like, you should do it. And I actually think they went on to publish their own work. So, you know, I'll never know who it was, but yeah, it's gone. Yeah. But it was one of the best field trip AUs I'd ever read, ever. And I've read a lot.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, back to Pitch Pearl for more cursed.
It is a ship between Danny Fenton and Danny Phantom. What you may be thinking is, aren't they the same person? Yes. But what if they weren't? And what if they were together?
Oh, scandalous.
Unironically love Pitch Pearl.
No, Beta, we die like Danny. A common fan fiction tag where an author doesn't have a beta reader and just posts it.
Yep.
Most asexual fandom. According to AO3, Danny Phantom has the least amount of general fanfics about romance and sexual relationships being the main focus of the ships. This has led people to say that Danny Phantom is the most asexual fandom because no one's really writing / about the characters. It is well documented, and I will be putting that in the description below again.
I just want to say, as an asexual, I am very pleased with that information.
Same.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have a lot of like.
Yeah, we got 3 aces in the call.
That is the end
Yeah,
of
we do.
layer 4.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Layer 5. You've seen a few things.
Yeah.
Diddle Piddles. Tumblr user Diddly Turncoast created a version of Danny where he is a little guy with a big old body, a ghost tail, and little old hands named Diddle Piddles. This little guy is cursed and adorable, and we all love him.
He's just a little guy.
The Oatmeal Saga.
Oh gosh.
Okay. We gotta pull up Diddles. We gotta pull up Diddles.
He's just a little
Because
guy.
He is.
We love him.
Well, and it was right around the time when Butch Hartman was doing the fuck around and find out stuff. And so I believe that Diddles and Guacamole Danny had a vendetta against Vlad, if I remember correctly. And I was like, this is some of the greatest work of art I've ever seen in my life. And okay, that's the horrifying version. Okay, so this was the horrifying one that I'm going to burn into your brain because I have to exist with it, and now you do too.
Yes.
So there's that. And then go back. Look at it.
It's terrible.
Mother. It's horrible. I love it. 10 out of 10. Okay.
Yes.
And our pink pants. More pink pants. Here we go. Share. Okay. Look at him. Look at him. Oh, this is the music one where they like Diddles Piddles theme song. Ah! No.
It's the pinwheel of death.
Here we go. I love it.
Right? It was a big
No. Okay, let's give a little
Chop down to like half. Half volume.
There we go. The Diddles Piddles theme song. Oh no.
It's so good.
It's so good. Like I love it every time. Like I do love Diddly Darn Ghost. Like every time they post something, I'm like, they're also the one responsible for I'm only horny for the sponge.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man. What do I got here? Oh, that's the Danny Yugi. Okay, wrong group.
The
okay.
iceberg.
Let's see. Oh man, Diddles Piddles. It's just
I like
know-
Diddles, but I also like Little Baby Man. If you've heard of Little Baby Man, Danny Phantom.
oh,
Yes.
there's a potential. Yes.
He's just a little guy.
Just a little
He's
guy.
just a little guy.
Just doing his best. Okay, well, I had Diddle Piddles ready to go. Where'd you go, you little nerd?
It's okay. We can go back to the.
Yeah, let's go back to the video. We're
Yeah.
low on time and more West stuff. Let's just close all that. Okay, we're going back. Oh, don't freeze on me. Bad, bad, bad. Don't do that. Oh, hey, my glitter. Yeah. And I died. Okay, screen.
And it mentioned how oatmeal is superior. Then another user named Dots reblogged this with their strong opinions on oatmeal, saying,
It keeps going in and out.
creating accounts like Danny eats his oatmeal and Dots loves oatmeal. A couple of days later, another user...
Can you scroll back to the beginning of the oatmeal saga?
The
cut out the middle of
OUT Phantom blog. DM a ghost tail
Look at
and
Diddles.
little old hands named Diddle
Look at him.
Diddles.
Little
This little guy is cursed and adorable, and we all love him.
Yes.
The Oatmeal Saga. In 2019, Tumblr user Lexosaurus posted how they dislike Hot Pockets and mentioned how oatmeal is superior. Then another user named Dots reblogged this with their strong opinions on oatmeal, saying it was the worst breakfast food ever. This led to people creating accounts like Danny eats his oatmeal and Dots loves oatmeal. A couple of days later, another user by the name The Best Phantom Blog DM'd Dots asking how many notes it would take for Dots to eat oatmeal. They responded with 5,000. People reblogged this post and easily got it to 5,000 before midnight. The next day, Dots, with the help of their aunt, made a video of them making and eating oatmeal, thus concluding the Oatmeal Saga. Now you're wondering, how did this relate to Danny Phantom? There's so many.
Always.
Oh, nice.
That's right.
Tucker. In the episode Reality Trip, Tucker says, "That is the hottest geek," and she transforms into her wolf form. Which Sam responds with, "Yeah, how about now?" And Tucker responds, "Yeah, still hot." This has made fans headcanon Tucker being a furry.
Our boy!
It's not gay if he's dead.
I finally got
this
to use
phrase
this
comes
joke the
from a
other
fan
day.
fiction by Phantom Rose in '96, where Danny finds out that everyone in his school has a crush on his alter ego, Danny Phantom. Danny confronts one of these bullies about his crush, which the bully responds, "It's not gay if he's dead." Link in the description if you want to see more. The Ultimate Enemy. The darkest Danny Phantom episode by far. Danny goes to the future to find out Emily Park has been destroyed and his friends and family were all killed in a nasty burger explosion in front of him. In the future, Danny has become a villain, with Valerie becoming the hero of the town, keeping everyone safe from, evil future Danny. This has led fans to nickname evil future Danny Dan. Dark Danny. Dark Danny, aka Dan, is the combination of Danny's ghost half and Vlad's ghost half, making him a full ghost. The Ultimate Enemy was the series finale. This is a fan theory going along the lines of the Ultimate Enemy being the final episode because of the fact that the original lead writer, Stephen Marmel, had left the show because of creative differences, leaving it to Butch. The Ultimate Enemy caused the drop in quality. The episode, The Ultimate Enemy, of course, was very dark, which led to people, not giving the show more money, I guess.
So, I'll let him finish.
Which, of course, led to the drop in quality in Season 3.
So it was not just Ultimate Enemy's fault. So Butch went into the Nickelodeon executives and pitched Ultimate Enemy as the next big thing for Nickelodeon. And he was adamant that this was going to be a bestseller. This was going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. They were going to knock it off the streets. And then it came out and it was dark. And the Nickelodeon executives were uncomfy. And on top of that, there was the disagreement behind the scenes. And so Steve Marvel, who he and Butch had originally agreed to take Danny Phantom in this darker direction as they went. Well, Butch, after seeing the executives' reaction and the audience going, "Oh, this is dark," pulled back on that and wanted to go with a more happy kind of, we saw what we got. And Steve Marvel wanted to go with the more darker, serious. Now, once again, this is from that word of mouth conversation I was talking about earlier from that DeviantArt person. And so Steve Marmol, because technically Butch was more in with, of course, the corporate, the bean counters, all that. He was a very good schmoozer. He had more say on what was going to happen. And so Steve Marmol saw the writing on the wall, and he and Butch parted ways on the project on, I believe, friendly terms, if I remember correctly. But yeah, Steve Marmol left Danny Phantom, and then I don't believe he ever looked back. He took up a position at Disney and worked on Sunny with a Chance, and Butch Hartman was then in charge of finishing out the show. But by that point, the executives had lost complete faith in Danny Phantom to perform at the point that Butch had promised them. And so they started, they had little things. They had puzzles and, of course, Burger King toys, and they pulled it all. I believe Butch was able to convince them to give it one more shot with the Phantom Freeze event, but it clearly did not please them like they were hoping, and the show was officially put in the can. That would have been the last Hail Mary for the show at the time, which I think was for the best. Because Butch Hartman, as I said before, his bread and butter is pitching ideas, coming up with ideas, basically. But he's not good with money, and he's not good at writing an overarching story. And oftentimes he forgets about little details. And the thing about being in charge of a big project is you have to know what you're good at and what you're not good at. And I don't think Butch Hartman realized that he wasn't good at that stuff and thought he was better at it. And you can see this transformation in his Fairly Odd Parents work as well, where the Fairly Odd Parents, they usually say that it jumped the ship when Poof appeared, but really it stayed steady up until around that same time where they started switching out their writers and stuff, and both shows just kind of ended up falling apart at the end because they had lost the clear vision that they had started with, because the people who were in charge of driving those visions left the projects. And so that's just kind of what I know, what I got over the years, kind of snooping around, getting all that information. But yeah, so it's not just that Ultimate Enemy was dark. It did not perform to what was promised, and Avatar: The Last Airbender did. So the network, when they could have had two big hitters, of course, but the network chose Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then they went through an executive change, and the new executives came in and said, Nickelodeon has too much serious stuff. We need to aim at younger kids. And then they tried to flush out the old generation of fans and aim solely towards younger kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, click and play. Sorry.
Danny's ghost half murdered his human half.
Oh, yes.
Again, we're doing all the Ultimate Enemy points right here now. So, in the episode, The Ultimate Enemy, Vlad splits Danny's human half and his ghost halves. Then his ghost half rips Vlad's ghost and human halves apart, which then the ghost halves fuse, and then it's very heavily implied that he kills Danny's human half to get rid of the pesky human emotions. It's a very dark episode, guys. It's very dark. Plant powers Sam. In the episode Urban Jungle, Sam is given the ability to control plants by undergrowth via his mind control over her. This led to fans to think, what if Sam kept those plant powers?
I like this theory.
Valerie's suit makes her part ghost. In the episode Flirting with a Disaster, Valerie gets a new suit from Technus. The suit merges with her, and the suit is clearly of ghostly origin, so fans have come to the conclusion that she's no longer completely human. The Guacamole arc comes from a comic from Diddly Darn Ghost, where Danny is obsessed with guacamole and shenanigans.
Guacamole and rock!
It's lovely. Phantom Chain. After Danny Phantom was announced to being cancelled, fans went to DeviantArt to draw themselves, OCs, and other Danny Phantom characters holding
remember
hands,
this, too.
forming a chain to show Nickelodeon their love
I
for
thought it
the
was
show.
weird, but I appreciate it
In
now.
hopes they wouldn't cancel it. Amity Parker's consuming ectoplasm. On the Lance Thunder roleplay blog on Tumblr,
Of course.
a ginormous broccoli tree appeared. Someone asked if it was edible, mentioning Ranch 2 in the process, even though Lance told them not to. The Amity Parker ate it anyways. This spread to the point of people eating a little blob ghosts, creating ecto-tea, mixing blood blossoms with ectoplasm. It spiraled for months, even making a ghost orphanage because of the consumption of other ghosts. Of so many ghosts. The event seems to have slowed down in more recent time, but gosh darn it, don't eat the ghosts. Spider Danny. This right here, officer. It's right here. This is a cursed image of Danny with arms, too many arms and too many legs, making him look like a spider. It originated from this screenshot of Danny getting ready to fly up and, oh, he coming type of thing. Link in description below.
A lot coming.
Ryan Finn. An OC created by Phantom Rose 96. He is an old college friend of Mr. Lancer's, who is somewhat, into the paranormal. He's currently unemployed, but studies Ghostspeak. He was created in a fanfic named Ghostspeak the Teacher. I'll put the link in description if you guys want to read it. It's really cute. Eldritch Horror Danny. Basically, the Eldritch Horror vibes are maxed out, making Fenton an off-putting, creepy human, and Phantom straight up terrifying to be around.
This is just canon.
It's lovely. Ember's death. Ember's death was described in her song Remember. She was originally an unpopular girl at school. She had dreams of becoming a rock star. One day, some guy asked her out on a date to go to the movies, where he stood her up. She stayed up all night, and when she got home, she collapsed and didn't wake up when her house mysteriously got set on fire. Ghost Vor.
Ghost Vor. Ghost
Skulker
Vor.
has mentioned before that he planned to eat the ghosts in the cages around, that he had with him. Also, Danny with an I mentioned she needed purified ectoplasm to sustain herself in Destabilized. From what we understand, it's like vampires drinking blood, or better along the lines of vampiric cannibalism and less vor, but that didn't stop the fans from, making the memes and the jokes about Ghost Vor.
Ghost Vor.
Half-a-bones are black. One of Danny's clones in the episode Kindred Spirits could best be described as a bedsheet ghost. You know the type. But upon the removal of the sheet, it's seen to have been completely skeletal, with black bones and red eyes. Now, we've seen exposed bone on some ghosts before, but none of them have ever been black. Only white or green tinted like the skin. However, this has led the fandom to come to a conclusion. Hello? Are the only ones we've seen, or rather the clone of Danny.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Did the video just freeze?
No.
It did for me.
I mean, I paused it.
Oh, the
no,
video
before
froze
that.
for me.
Oh.
Yeah, it glitched in the half
Oh,
of bones
oh
was where we
no.
were at.
Okay,
Nope, too
we'll
far.
go back to Ghost Vor.
Memes and the jokes about
Okay.
Ghost Vor.
Half-a-bones are black. One of Danny's clones in the episode Kindred Spirits could best be described as a bedsheet ghost. You know the type. But upon the removal of the sheet, it's seen to have been completely skeletal, with black bones and red eyes. Now, we've seen
I think it's 'cause
exposed bone
Danny's
on
colors
some
are
ghosts
inverted.
before, but none of them have ever been black.
Probably.
Only white or
Yep.
green tinted like the skin. However, this has led the fandom to come to a conclusion that half-a-bones are black. because Danny's bones are the only ones we've seen, or rather the clone of Danny.
You've only seen Danny's
And Danny's
bones.
the only half of whose bones we've seen. This led us to this conclusion that half of bones are in fact black instead of white, due to the whole inversion process that seems to happen in the transformation, what with Danny's hair turning white from black, or his jumpsuit going from white with black trim to black with white trim. Tucker is the reincarnation of an Egyptian pharaoh. In the episode King Tut, the gang is on a field trip to the museum with the rest of their class. They notice that Tucker bears a striking resemblance to one Dul Aman, an ancient pharaoh of Egypt. Legend says
I like
that
this idea,
Hotep
I
Ra,
just think it was
the pharaoh's
executed
right-hand
poorly.
servant, will reawaken when Dul Aman's face is reflected in the mirror of his sarcophagus. Which happens the moment Tucker looks into the mirror, I might add. This implies that Tucker is in fact the reincarnation of Dul Aman when Hotep Ra awakens. Little known fact, this also means that Tucker would be super awesome at children's card games.
Disasteroid. In Phantom Planet, it doesn't really make sense how they end up winning against the Disasteroid. It's really dumb, and it's terrible, and everyone hates it. Stay tuned for the video where Demo and I go and break down all of Phantom Planet, and then rewrite everything. It'll be fun. Dracula copyright. I'm not too sure what this one is. I couldn't actually find anything, so if anybody knows anything, please tell me. Sucker and Tam. Same with this one.
I don't know about the Dracula copyright in regards to Danny Phantom. I know about it in regards to Nosferatu, because Nosferatu was Dracula was hugely popular, and they wanted to make a Dracula movie, but they didn't want to pay for the licensing, so they made a basically shot for shot of Dracula, but named the characters like Nosferatu and different characters. But I don't know about Danny Phantom. Gracie, Dana, do you know by chance?
I don't.
I would say, well, because there was the episode where we had Jack was dressed like Dracula.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, I remember that now. Originally, Vlad was supposed to be a vampire, but they chose not to follow through on it.
Yeah, it was probably something along with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because, okay. Which is why based on, okay. Yeah, so that's probably what they're talking about.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's a ship thing or I don't know. Please tell me in the comments. Ghosts are monsters from another dimension. Butch has stated that none of the ghosts in the show are actually ghosts. They're just monsters from another dimension.
This is why
This is really dumb because we see multiple characters' backstories of them dying and before their deaths.
Look at her.
Wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mind you,
Sure is.
while editing this video, we also found Freakshow, who was a human and was alive, and then is now a part of the ghosts, meaning we've seen a character die in the show. The last time we see Freakshow is at the end of Reality Trip. Yes, he turns himself into a ghost into the episode, but Danny turns everything back to normal, which means he should also be back to normal, and the guys in white took him away. But now he's a ghost, so I guess we see another character
But he
die.
couldn't get
That's
rid
not
of
Danny.
Dash's ghost either.
Different
so
openings.
I guess
The
it's
opening
an
to Danny
interesting
Phantom is
discussion.
actually not
to
the
debate.
only
I'd
one.
love to
There
have.
is another one. It is really good, and I love it, and I'm gonna put it in the description because it's really good. Please go check it out. I don't want to get copyrighted, alright? It's really good. Also, Butch made a video talking about it and stuff, but the other opening was already on YouTube far before he did that.
Yeah.
Layer 6.
Yay!
You're in too deep to go back now.
It's true.
We're underneath
Unless if
the
you end
iceberg.
this video. Then you're fine. Actual dissection and vivisection fix.
Yep.
I know it was all fun and games when we talked about the memes, but guys, there are actual dissection and vivisection fix.
I've read them.
And I have seen them. People can't decide if it's dissection or vivisection because Danny is half dead and half alive. We're just gonna move on. Catboy Vlad. Long story short, Catboy Vlad. Roll the clip.
Oh man.
If
Oh
they're
man. So good.
So I would say if there's no heartbeat or nerve reaction, it's dissection because it is dead. Basically, if the thing can react to you, it's alive to some capacity. Whether that's a ghost or not, it's beside the point. Semantics. If it can react to you, it is alive. If it cannot react to you, it's not.
This seems like first-hand knowledge, Nana.
Hey. And it anesthesia and stuff doesn't count because you're still having reactions. It's just limited mobility. Like, yeah.
Nana is scientist. Does lots of science stuff.
Chemistry and bio and physics and all that.
Yes. The group science expert. Yes.
Yeah, when all these yahoos are all English majors and psych majors and theater majors, and I'm over here hoarding all of the sciences. I'm just like, okay. They're like, hey, if we have a sciencey question, we just bat it at you and hope you have an answer for us. I'm like, well, I'll try.
Yeah. Okay, we're almost done, guys. We're almost done.
I'll
we just
link
have
it in
like 8
description
minutes.
below. Last words. Some people have said that they want their last words to be "I'm going ghost." It is very sad.
Elmer's so.
Is it though? Is it?
No, I think that's excellent.
I think the best way to go out is by making a Danny Phantom pun. Quite frankly.
Yes.
I want to high five Jesus as I walk into heaven.
Yes.
Or that escalator downwards. But you know.
You'd be getting a high five either way, like, yes.
It's true. It's true.
Insert, which his real name is Elmer, and he has stated that Danny is a self-insert. The pilot to Danny Phantom seems to be lost to time. They say the pilot originally shows Danny getting his powers. I myself have been trying to find it for years to no avail. If anyone has seen it, anyone knows anything about it, or anyone even has it saved, please tell me. I want to see it.
That would have to be somebody breaking their NDA for, and I don't think they will.
How did Danny press the button on accident? Was it because it was dark? Was it because he tripped on a loose wire? Well, the loose wire part was fandom. In canon, Danny just accidentally pressed the button. Danny never tripped on the loose wire. Phantom Pledge on March 27th, 2014.
Hey, Phantom Pledge from Phantom Central. Go follow them. They got Phantom Central has a list for all of the Danny Phantom ships, so it is within everybody's best interest to go and follow them because they've got a ton of information that's just good for general fandom knowledge.
It's true.
Fans of the show should make a pledge to the fandom on April 3rd at 7 p.m. when the first episode originally aired. People said that they didn't really like this because it seemed fairly cultish. And that is not what this fandom is. Ashian guard dogs were killed. A popular fan theory where the Ashian guard dogs were put down when the new system was put in place. This is supported by Cujo, the puppy, kept going back to...
That's not his actual name?
No!
I literally... That was one of the few things that I completely thought was actual canon, but mostly because it's been like most of a decade since I've seen Danny Phantom, like actually watch the episodes, and that's just always been bopping around in my brain as the name of the dog.
He literally calls the dog Cujo, but apparently they were just making a joke to the book and a reference to the book Cujo. But everybody was like, "Oh yeah, that's definitely the dog's name."
Okay, that's probably why. Because I was like, Danny said, because then when you had said that the other day, I was like, wait, what? I was like, because Danny straight up calls the dog Cujo, but that wasn't his name. It's like, oh, it was a reference that went over everyone's head.
Everyone said, well, we were all like, we for one should at that time not have been reading Cujo, frankly.
No.
We should now that we're older, probably, but no, it was a reference, and we all just took it at face value that was the dog's name.
Well, isn't that kind of the same thing that happened with Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd? Bugs Bunny made a Nimrod joke, it was like a reference, but nobody like got the reference and took it as like a. He was calling him an idiot instead of like referencing like a mythic a mythical hunter or something from the Bible or something, or like a famous.
Yeah, I think it's Grecian.
Right. Yeah, like a famous hunter from like the Old Testament or something. He was like making a reference because Elmer Fudd is a hunter, and everyone was just like, "Oh, he's just calling him an idiot." And it's just like, well, reference successfully failed.
Yes.
Toy that had been left behind. The failed clones. This is commenting on the fact that in the episode Kindred Spirits, Vlad had made a bunch of clones of Danny, but they had all destabilized in fairly gruesome and gory ways. Skinned pudding. Skulker canonically skins his pudding. It's become a meme. What do you mean, skinned pudding? Well, what actually is pudding skin is that it's a layer of dried milk that happens because of evaporation at the top of pudding. You can eat it, it's not dangerous, it's just really cursed. You can just scrape it off with a spoon, move on.
I like pudding skin,
which we're
I'm not gonna lie.
Amity Park residents can't leave. This is a fan theory stated that Amity Park residents cannot leave either from ectoplasm radiation or due to Danny's obsession. I don't know.
So imagine you move out of Amity Park and you're like settle down and you go to bed for the night and you wake up to fucking glowing green eyes.
No,
I'm here to bring you home.
You wake up and you're just back and all of your stuff is back and you're in the same place. You're like, what?
Yes.
There's just a note from Danny stuck on your wall like, saw you misplaced all of your stuff. I moved everything back for you.
You're welcome, Danny Phantom.
Yeah, you're like, well, guess I live here forever.
Just have to call your boss the next day. So I did move. But, I
Yep.
Amity Parkers seem to be having trouble leaving, or visitors having a hard time leaving as well. Ectoplasm radiation. This is a headcanon that ectoplasm emits radiation. People who are around it for a long time could become sick or gain minor ghostly traits. A theory from this is that Danny only half survived from the portal accident because he had been exposed to it by his parents for years. Some people have even written Jazz as being creepy like Danny, which is also fun. This little part of the theory comes from me because of reading this, I had thought about something that Butch had said in one of his older videos, where basically, if any of Danny's friends were in his situation, they would have just died. They would not have become a halfa. And originally, I had thought that was dumb. But thinking about it combined with this theory, the fact that Danny had been exposed to the ectoplasm his whole entire life, even at times probably even ate it by accident, would be the reason he survived. But at the same time, his friends wouldn't, because they weren't in contact with the stuff their entire lives. This would also make sense because Vlad had been exposed to it for...
They aren't eating the ranch too like Danny is.
Listen, it's the ranch too.
It's the ranch too.
It all comes back to the ranch too.
Yep.
For a fairly long time when he was researching it in college. Just food for thought. Vlad is Danny's biological father. This is a fan theory that Maddie cheated on Jack with Vlad and had Danny in the process. This could explain why Vlad is so obsessed with Danny and not Jazz. These theories could get pretty dark with Maddie not being in full, consent with the whole situation. So we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. Moving on. The fandom is as undying as the show. This is referencing the fact that, the show is a little undead, this fandom is a little undead, mainly because of the fact that, it's been 19 years, and it's still going strong as if the show is still airing. It's kind of more of a pat on the back than anything else. But also referencing that, considering the fandom is still ongoing, This video will probably be very much behind within a few weeks, months, and most likely definitely a year from now. And I've probably definitely missed quite a few things. If you guys have noticed that I've missed a few things, please comment them. I really want to do an update video on this when I'm a little better at YouTube and stuff.
Hey, I think LaceForest is doing it. LaceForest. I always call them LaceForest. They're not. They're LaceForest.
This amazing fandom that I have had the pleasure to meet and see, from the most wholesome to the most cursed. You have all made this silly little cartoon into something even more than the creators have ever thought possible. I hope you guys have all enjoyed this iceberg. I had a lot of fun making it and forcing my friends to listen to all my random Danny Phantom knowledge.
Yes.
And thank you, Dylan, for helping me read some of these. I am very dyslexic.
Yeah, Dylan!
It is very helpful. Please check out all the creators and all the
this
links
person
down
is
below
playing
in the
Minecraft
description.
with a
Everything was really cool
Wacom
looking into.
tablet.
Everybody did such a cool job with it.
I don't know. They're not dying every 5 seconds.
Listen. It was also the first time I've ever played Minecraft. I didn't know what the buttons did. I didn't even know how to play Minecraft at all. I had vague, esoteric Minecraft knowledge gleaned from the scraps that I would get from internet videos. I didn't know how the game actually works. Don't come at me, bro. It was the first time I played a video game in like 4 years. Let me use my trackpad in peace. I also had a broken down arrow key. What do you expect from me?
Well, I mean, you're not wrong. Okay, your channel. I'm gonna watch those small ones quick and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, I gotta go here in the next like 5 minutes.
Okay. Your videos. Oh, I don't think that's what I wanted. I want show more. Liked videos. There we go. Okay. Okay. This is the cat one. The one with Wes that I want to show you is it? No, that's the one with. Here it is. Okay, are you ready?
For a very long time, I've watched you from afar, hunched in your closet or stuck beneath your car. I treasured all the stories the three of us shared. Wherever you are, I'll always be there. When you were alone, I was there too, behind the shower curtain that you never knew. I dressed in your clothes and pointed your hair. I washed your back to sleep and nuzzled your hair. It helps that your bedroom has places to hide, and the windows don't lock, so I can get inside. I've waited so long to be a part of your life, and one day one of you will call me his wife.
That is so good.
Okay, so that's that one.
That's so
And
good.
And then the last one we're gonna watch.
You have your autoplay on.
I mean, that one's pretty good. Ooh, the last one we're gonna watch is this one, the DPAU.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
Because this is fantastic, absolutely banging.
Can you play this with the music?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I was gonna say you can always mute the music. And we
I
can just
could.
watch it.
I could. Yeah. Okay. I like the music though. If you get the chance, just go watch it, because the music helps a lot. Look at that sad baby. Whoa! Oh, it's Tucker. I love Tucker. Yeah.
It's so good.
It's definitely better with the music, but it's still impressive.
Yeah, how to get Danny human. I'm sorry, bro. He's a lich forever.
He's not changing back. Oh, so good. This had to take a long time. Like,
Look at them ghosts.
Damn ghosts.
Sam just scoops up Tucker. He's like, nope.
Nope. We're not today. Not today, Spookums.
My nerd.
Orb.
I love that Ember design.
Yeah. All of the designs in this are extremely good.
Yes. Think, ye. Okay. Oh, it's so good. I'm so sad that we can't listen to it with the volume. Watch it with the volume. So good. I love that shot.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
It's okay. She's a necromancer. They got this. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, you know.
Just everything.
Cinematic masterpiece.
Yes, so good. I love that shot too. Smart boy. Use brain. That one brain cell he has. And boink. Hooray!
Oh.
Here we go.
Do.
Oh! Yeah!
Yay!
Clonk.
Plop. Uh-oh.
Oh, he's okay.
Yay!
Yay!
He's good.
He's alive. Oh,
Are you sure about that?
Are you sure?
Well,
his eyes were still half green, and he has the streak. He still has a streak of white in his hair.
He will.
He's
never,
sort of alive.
He's back to half a status.
This is the John Mulaney skit of Horse in a Hospital, except Vlad is the horse and he's in the government.
Yes.
Yes.
That's fun.
All right, folks. I need
They should do a Horse in the Hospital, like with that one AU where he goes to school with no description of him. They should do that.
The Hive one where with the villain. There's a hero loose in the villain school. Points at Danny dressed as a horse. All right, folks.
My beloved, you will be shown someday.
But
not tonight because we are exhausted and out of time.
Yes,
I just felt our energy go.
Well, I'm an hour past when I said I was going to be done streaming, and I still have to go for a walk and eat dinner and things.
Yep. So I think it's time we wrap, and that is A-okay. A-okay. Alrighty. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you Nana and Gracie K for joining me tonight to talk about this delightfully wonderful and twisted fandom. And we will see you all on Tuesday, July 18th.
Next Tuesday.
Yes, Tuesday. To read the new Danny Phantom graphic novel, which we are super excited for.
Are we streaming at the same bat time and same bat place?
Yep. Same time, same place. Hopefully by then I'll have my dual monitor setup done and it'll be much easier to get around.
Yes. Here's hoping. Well, thanks for having me, Gala. Thanks for joining us, Gracie.
Thank you for joining, Gracie.
Thanks, chat. Thanks
Walter,
Strubaloos, for hanging out with us.
Yeah, thank you, Strubaloos.
And
it was a good time.
Yeah.
Never pass up an opportunity to talk about Danny Phantom.
It's true. You might make a best friend out of it.
Exactly.
Or at least you spread the good word of Danny Phantom to another person,
It's
willingly or
true.
unwillingly on their part.
It's better if it's unwillingly, because then it's funny.
Holding you at knife point. Let me tell you about Danny Phantom.
Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
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 Bye.